color combo. But here, it gives it a real hot rod, almost sport luxury look. The stress-free payments, can it get any easier than this? If you have $20 available on any major credit card, we will ship this watch to you, which retails every day for just under $200 on our website. We'll ship it to you for free. 288-309, the 50mm Jetstream.
One of our favorite brands, and not just because we make it, but because they make great design, is Ben & Sons. And the 44mm Mercury really does pull back from an old school design, almost a field style watch. But notice there's some 21st century touches in there, such as the modern color, the size of the watch at 44mm as opposed to, say, 38 if this was truly a vintage watch. You're going to love the convex crystal that's on there that really gives it a vintage feel. There is so much within this watch, including the fact that you not only have the time, the hour, the minute, the sweep hand, but 3 additional subdials for the chronograph, all in that gorgeous black IP plating, and that tan genuine leather strap really looks great on this watch. And this watch, brand new, right off the plane, is going to be only $18 to get it home. That's your first of 5 stress-free, interest-free payments, $89.99. It's a great watch, and you're going to want to add it to your collection. Now, if you need something a bit more serious, maybe you're a bit more rough and tumble, and you need a really tough watch, how about something that's going to meet military grade and standard?
That's right, the Modern Mariner right here, item number 242385. This baby is my hot pick for the day. This is from the Series 7250.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I went with something, because I am rough and tumble, because I am rugged, Wiley. Is that not obvious because I've got fancy necklace on and pink lipstick that I can't get down and dirty?
You were just saying, I'm wearing a dress, I don't have pockets. And now it's...
I am an enigma. I am an enigma. I like this watch so much. This watch, we do have other color variations on our website, one of them being a silver tone case, but I like the triple black dial case strap. Now, $300, you might be wondering, what gives? Why is this watch so expensive? Well, first things first, Luminox is a Swiss-made brand. So not only are you getting a watch that is a Swiss-made movement inside, this is a Ronda 3-hand Swiss-made movement, but you're also getting a watch that is assembled in Switzerland. At least 60% of the value and components of the watch are of Swiss origin. And it actually passed final tests and certifications from the Swiss Federation. So there's a lot that goes into a watch being able to be a Swiss-made watch. And this watch being from our second hour, you'll see a lot more Swiss-made next hour when every single item is of Swiss origin. 38mm case on a watch that is tactical and I think tactical, if you will.
You did not just say that.
I just did that.
I love you.
I love a 38mm case. Now, ladies, I have a 6-inch wrist, average size, I suppose on the slimmer side for a lady's wrist. And I think 38mm is that great, almost mid-range size. I call it the Goldilocks size. It's not too big and it's not too small. It's just right if you want to make a statement, but still have something that you could wear every single day. Now I'm showing you the screwed-in case back where you can see that not only is this a Swiss-made watch, it's also a 200-meter professional-grade dive watch. So now we've got a watch that, on a leather strap, Swiss-made, I could wear with jeans, I could wear to the office, or I could wear with a bathing suit while scuba diving. This is the kind of watch that once you put it on, you never have to take it off. And what's great about this leather strap, it's specially treated so that you can wear it swimming and diving. Most of the time with leather straps, we'll tell you, try not to get them wet. In fact, do not get your leather straps wet on watches. But with this Luminox leather, it's specially treated, you can get it wet. Now, Luminox has a few things that sets them apart from other brands. The first being their designs are actually created not only for, but with the assistance and direction of U.S. military and law enforcement both here and abroad. We've got the Color Mark series available on our website, which has the Navy SEALs insignia on the case back, as it was designed and worn by the U.S. Navy SEALs. We've got the SXC, which was designed by astronauts working on the Space Exploration Corporation. So these are watches that are not only built for people who have very rugged, very tough jobs, but they are actually worn in the field. So for me, I just find that to be a really cool feature. Perhaps the coolest feature, though, is the tritium. Now, Luminox, the name Lume, or the word Lume in Luminox, stands for the tritium, which is their version of lume. If you can think about lume on your timepiece right now, superluminova or some other proprietary compound, for example, on this Swiss Legend I have, you can see it on the hands there, that's a painted on compound. So looking at the dial here and even on the hands, you'll see these little white dashes. Looks like they're painted on. But when I turn the watch, you can see that they're not little painted on stripes. They're actually individual glass tubes. So instead of a painted on compound, tritium is an inert gas that is always glowing. And this is what this watch looks like after dark. So with an inert gas always glowing, you get a few benefits there. One, you never ever have to charge up your lume. I keep my watches at home in a watch box that has a closed lid to it, so it's not a see-through or acrylic top. What that means is if I haven't worn a watch in a while, when I take that watch out, it's really, really difficult to get lume on it right away. Usually I have to hold it up to a lamp or wear it outside during the day for a bit, and then it gets that superluminova charge. With tritium, I could keep this watch in the back of my closet in its box, take it out after a year or 2 years, and it will still glow the exact same. So while it might not be overall as vibrant of a superluminova lume, because remember, your lume, if it's superluminova or some painted on compound, it's super bright, and then after a few hours it starts to fade a bit. This doesn't fade. This will always have that same luminescence. Tritium also has a half-life of 12.5 years, which means that the total tritium can last is about 25 years. And here's something interesting, because the first time we started presenting Luminox on the shows, when I started here about 3 years ago, I kept thinking, oh my God, well that's really cool, but imagine how expensive it's going to be to replace your tritium bulbs. Fun fact, replacing tritium bulbs on a watch is cheaper than having superluminova repainted. So this is not only a rough and rugged, awesome watch that will take you all day and all night. You can wear it in the shower. You can do anything you want in it. But it's also a watch that you've got that nice little, I'll call it an insurance policy, to know that the materials are set to last for a very, very long time. The leather strap, specially treated for swimming and diving, already feels broken in the first time you put it on your wrist. And it will accommodate a 7 3/4 inch wrist at its maximum. So there's a lot of wiggle room, let me just show you that, a lot of wiggle room on this strap for a larger wrist or a smaller wrist than mine. Now before we transition, you always talk about this fun fact. Tritium is actually used on gun ranges?
Well, for folks that are maybe into hunting or into shooting or marksmanship, there are a lot of gun sites that use tritium. And it's actually, you can't say painted on, but it is used at the end of the gun sight because it gives you a clear spot to focus on. So many gun collectors are very familiar with the product. And it's an expensive product as far as when they add it to something like a sight on a gun. And to see it on a watch like this, you are really getting the very, very best. Now, one of the things I told you about Luminox, a friend of mine who is a diver, and he works with the police department, is he said, I want the ability to have that lume on there that I know it won't go out because my life can depend on it. And a friend of mine who is in Special Forces said they liked having it because when they used night vision, that was so bright they could actually use it as a flashlight when they used night vision, and I thought that was very cool too.
My friend has a Luminox watch and he wore it to a concert and it looked really cool there too. So we're not saving lives, but it looked really awesome. You know what else is awesome about this watch? You get it for 50% off, and it's a Swiss-made watch. And if you use the stress-free payments, which is what I would do, $60 a month. So what's that? $2 a day for a watch that you'll have the rest of your life. And it's really cool. I think it's a unisex timepiece at 38 millimeters, maybe for a young man, if you will. But ladies, definitely check it out. And check out our website, WorldofWatches.com, because we've got a lot of other Luminox watches there. Well, let's transition from something that is super rugged and tough to something that's a bit more esteemed and classic, if you will.
How did we switch roles? Or maybe this is the correct role.
I know,
I'm not
next
really
week I'll
sure.
have like a beard, little chest hair.
I want to show you my selection for. I have so many funny things to say.
You're just glad because now you'll have an excuse to keep shaving your legs.
Olympic swimming. I'm still hoping to make it someday. But she made me sign a contract that I would never say anything bad about her. It's true.
It's true.
It's true. My watch.
Don't go to his Facebook page.
I've got your photos. And by the way, the new living room furniture looks nice. At least from across the other street. I want you to be able to see what I consider to be just a great value, a great watch, and truly, as we've released some brand new Lucien Picards, when they showed me this, and everybody who's seen it has loved this watch. Go ahead and come into a close-up on this. Even if it's to the beauty shot, you need to see this watch and realize at this price point, you're going to think, did you forget a zero? How in the world can you do this watch at this price? This is a brand new design from Lucien Picard. Now it has the ZS2015 automatic movement in it, which is a 22 joule automatic. Now even though it's a dress watch, it still has 30 meters of water resistance within this 44 millimeter case. Of course, that's all 316L stainless steel, so should you get the case a little scratched up, it's going to polish up. This is not like a chrome plating that over time is going to flake off. You ever had a watch, maybe a less expensive watch, and it wasn't really stainless steel? It was almost like a
I have
coating.
jewelry that's done that before.
It's so disappointing.
It is. It turns your wrist green.
And this is why 316L stainless steel is used. It's, you can scratch all the way down through this, and it will polish back up to this mirror polish. That's what it does. It's not a coating that's on it. Now, as you look even closer into the watch, you're going to be able to see that you have not just that three-hand configuration, with an hour and a minute, but you also have the multiple complications within the watch, such as your secondary time zone, a moon phase, an open heart complication, and there a window at the 3 o'clock staring directly into the inner workings of the watch. Absolutely phenomenal. And you notice this could have been, we've seen open hearts with a bridge going across, but look at the stylization that's within that bridge. Isn't that gorgeous? Think about a traditional bridge that you would see.
Yes.
And this has all of that decoration to it that I think is phenomenal. That's all hand done.
It's gorgeous.
And look at the Cote de Genève that's on the dial itself. And then, of course, you have all of the hour indices and a high mirror polish, and I think it looks absolutely incredible. Now,
can you go back to a shot? Can you hold it back up there and tilt the crystal again?
Mm-hmm.
There was a flash of blue. You see that right there? Mm-hmm. Our new company-owned brands are now going to be debuting all watches that feature an anti-reflective coating over them.
Really?
Yes, I was talking to
that's expensive to do.
Niso
That's
Barocas,
another.
and he was,
Yes.
he's the creative director for our company-owned brands, and he was showing me when we had a meeting last week. He was telling me that we are actually now, our company-owned brands, Lucien Picard and Swiss Legend being two of the primary ones, that are going to feature anti-reflective coatings over the crystals.
And that's an expensive thing to do. We see it on things like Luminox, but again, it's another process, and you usually don't see it at this price point.
Yeah, most of the time it's just Swiss-made watches that have it.
Of course, this is sapphire crystal, both front and back. That's going to be as scratch-resistant as sapphire. So when you consider that 316L stainless steel can polish up and look brand new years later, I just brought in 2 watches to have them do the polishing.
Again?
One of them took 3 hours.
Really?
They're not happy with me.
I can imagine.
But when they handed the watch back,
You were very happy.
was like it had just come out of the box.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. I mean,
so
you
cool.
would be absolutely amazed. One of them had a satin finish, one had a high mirror polish, but stainless steel can hold whatever look it's originally supposed to have. So when you realize that the Sapphitech crystal is both front and back, and that's going to be, you've got, like with our Swiss Legend, you have a 10-year warranty on Swiss Legend. And this is the exact same crystal. That we don't put that same warranty on here because that's kind of exclusive to the Swiss Legend brand. But certainly that 5-year the 5-year warranty on the movement is still there, and it's going to be reliable and accurate for years to come. Love this watch. It's one of the watches that you will not be disappointed at. The moment you pick this up, you're going to realize you have made a very wise investment. The $300 price point easily for this watch. But look at where we've put it, at half the WOW price. I mean, not half of the list price, half of the WOW price. And I have to tell you that some of our watch designers were, I don't want to say upset, but when they spent years, literally years designing some of these new designs, and then, the higher-ups in the company said, no, put it out there at the lowest price we can do it. That's amazing to me. Now again, this watch at 44 millimeters looks great on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. It is just the right size. Notice that there is a generous amount of this strap. And because they've used a deployant class where this might wear out over time, you have the metal now doing the work for you. And because of that, it's going to be so much easier to see this looking good for years and years to come. Now this also comes in a black variation as well as the blue that you're seeing here. Which one did you like better?
I like this blue one.
It really has a royal look to it. Look at that. Look at how the light just catches all the different shades of metal. You know, the gold tone, the silver, some of the antique finish that's in there. This watch has such a great look on those. You know what? I think I actually bought this too.
You did get this one.
I did.
Aren't you getting this for a gift for someone?
Am I allowed to do that?
I think so.
Then yes, it's
you
good.
can do whatever you want.
Yes. But I did buy this watch. We have two watches, the Matador and the San Marco, that I think are beautiful beyond their price point. I mean, they just are classic, and they're pieces that you'll pass down for years to come. So please give consideration for this as part of your collection. It is my top pick. It's one of the best values, and at $31 to get it home, guess what? We're also going to pay for shipping. And we're going to give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you open the box and decide it's not right, you put it on your wrist, because you don't have to worry about the adjustment. It's easy to adjust this deployant clasp. It's just opening a little flap, sliding it back and forth, see if it fits. If it's not right, send it back. We'll give you every penny back. We are watchmakers, watch designers, and we want you, above all else, to be happy. And with this, I feel completely confident you're going to be elated. Now,
yesterday we aired this watch, and we were calling it that stocking stuffer, or that great gift that maybe somebody invites you over for a holiday party last minute, or a secret Santa at the office, and you want to get them something, you don't want to spend a lot of money. $9 down. $9 down. Now, when you factor in, you never pay shipping here, and you don't pay returns. What you see when we talk about stress-free payments is what you get. Now, state tax, that has nothing to do with us, and that's obviously different and applicable wherever. But for $9 down a month, and then let's say you have to pay a little bit of tax on that, depending on where you live, so maybe it's, $9.67, that first payment. The 4 payments after that are $9 down. That's it. $45 is the total price for a watch that retails for $110. This is a huge, huge deal, because Caravelle New York is actually an offshoot, or the fashion brand of Bulova, the Bulova Corporation that's been around since the 1800s. Caravelle New York is their high fashion, more affordable brand that is designed right in New York. And I think, interestingly enough, you get a lot of that Bulova design for a much more affordable price. It's like when we see Marc by Marc Jacobs or ESQ by Movado. It's still that name brand. Here, you're looking at a 45 millimeter to no shape case. You can see it's that more unique shape case that's got the rounded edges, but then the straight across at the top and bottom, or north and south positions. Screwed down pieces, which show you it's a multi-piece case design. In fact, you can see right here that this brushed portion is a different piece from this screwed down area right there on the front. Then you've got a silver tone aluminum bezel insert, which adds a nice bit of contrast to the stainless steel you see on the case. Inside is a Japanese chronograph quartz movement. When I start my chronograph, you'll notice that the 6 o'clock subdial begins to make its way around for the chrono, and then I'm just resetting it right there. You've got an AM/PM indicator. Let me move this hand out of the way to show you. You've got an AM/PM indicator right here. That is a 24-hour military time frame. What that means is right here it's pointing to a little indicator that says 22. So you know that the 10 displayed here is 10 p.m. But watch as I advance. If it was 10 a.m., let's say, or any other time, I could move this around, and that AM/PM indicator would be reflected right there. Over here, your 30-minute short time totalizer for your chronograph. I actually think this looks a lot like the Marine Star collection that we sell of Bulova. So I love that for $45 you get that same great look because it's from the same brand.
It has a little bit of an Ingersoll look to it too, with some of its limited edition pieces. And as you were talking about Caravel, Caravel was designed as that fashion arm, but not necessarily the discount arm. It was not supposed to be a less expensive selection. It was supposed to be a more fashion forward. But here you're seeing, a watch that's priced well over $100 for, 60% off.
Isn't that amazing?
It really is. It's beautiful too.
Now, we're both going to try this on because everybody out there, I think, can play in this unisex timepiece. With my 6-inch wrist, I have it on the tightest closure. It's just a slight bit loose, but very, very easy to fix that. You can actually get a tool from the internet or even from a watch or a jeweler where you just add another hole to the strap. Super easy to do, and then you'll notice when we get a close-up shot, once this was cinched down, it fits perfectly. There's no gapping or spacing. The strap itself at that tightest closure, I think, accommodates about a 6.5-inch wrist. And then check out how generous it is. So this is definitely a timepiece that men and women can enjoy. And as we have spoken many, many times on the show about, I think, of course, being a woman and more maybe in tune with fashion, so to speak, I think it's great. Well, let me see where I'm going.
No, I'm fine. Go ahead.
I think it's great when men wear white watches. And I know you personally wear a white watch all the time.
I can tell you right now, and you'll see them on the show, Ingersoll, as well as Bulova, and a few of our other brands like Ritmo Mundo and TW Steel have used a lot of white in their watches in the straps and bands, and it is very, very popular right now. And you're going to find that it gives a very clean look to it. And there's also seems to be, it feels very youthful, and you've still kindly let me put it on anyway, but it's just one of those, it's true. I think that looks great.
It fits you nicely.
Well, it's the right size. I mean, this mid-size right here falls more into a classic size than some of the very large watches that you may see out there that are very contemporary. So it has a classic feel, yet it doesn't feel old at all. Very clean, very comfortable on the wrist, and you are right, there is a generous amount of strap. And the nice thing about it, you're also at a price point that if you feel like, I really like the watch, but I'm not sure about this, for just a fraction of the cost, you can get another strap to go on there.
Absolutely. I honestly think it's that great gift piece, though, really. You're at a giftable price. I mean, I don't know what the holidays are like for your family, but with my family, because I have a bigger family and, two separate families, so to speak, for holidays, I mean, I have to get a lot of gifts. Sometimes that gets quite expensive, even if you're like,
Oh,
okay,
sure.
I'm only going to spend, $40 on my uncle and then this or my cousin or whatnot. Here, you don't have to feel bad about not having a lot of money, so to speak, to spend. Or maybe it's your friend's birthday coming up. Or maybe you want to get your son a gift. Or it could be anything. Because at $9 down, we are making this so easy. And I really believe that the best way to shop, especially for the holidays, is to use the stress-free payments. Make it easy on yourself. It is interest-free to get into these items.
Or you may decide that you want that fashion-forward look of the white-on-white watch, but you don't want to go to the kiosk in the mall,
Absolutely.
pay $100, and have a no-name watch that lasts you about a year and a half.
Totally.
Here is a watch by a company, just like you said, it's been around since 1875. If these folks don't know watchmaking, I don't know who does. So go ahead, consider this for your collection. It is easy to add on. Maybe you already have an existing order or you're planning on ordering something. Make sure you throw this on there because, again, it is returnable, but you don't want to let it go. 262380, the Caravel, New York, white-on-white watch, only $44.99. Now, coming up right behind that, oh, Megan, I know how much you love Ben & Sons because, you are a girly girl. There's no two ways about it. And you have more and more, you've done more fashion stuff. I can give you a hard time, but she really is. She is the fashion guru. She is my, the go-to person.
He sends me selfies of his outfits, and I'm like, no.
Just the outfits.
It's like in the dressing room. I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's so awkward. Why would you share that on live TV? I'm not FaceTiming you anymore. This is one of those watches that it's like an old friend. It really is that comfortable. Now I'm going to show you something about the watch. Some of the watches that we have earlier, you can lay out. Go ahead and, no, that one's got the watches that have leather straps, this will work. That's perfect. Notice when I lay that down. Now, Luminox is a great watch, and there is a slight bit of curvature that's on it. But, okay, you see that? But this will lay flat. But it still fits the wrist. The leather eventually will mold itself to you. Now, I want you to see, just when I let go of this, what the strap does. It stays in the shape of a wrist. These are solid end links. There is metal in here, so even though you're seeing leather, this is solid. Notice there is no give. This does not gap. So when this goes on the wrist, it is a perfect fit. It is like that old pair of tennis shoes or the old style Levi jeans that when they shrunk to fit, they were fit to your body. This watch in its 44 millimeter case, the Voyager, the name says it all. This is ready to take you on all of life's adventures. And as you come in even closer, I want you to take a look at that dial and realize all the detail they've put in the design. Now, it's a three-hand configuration with the Mercedes style, hour, minute, and a continuously operating sweep band. You have 3 additional subdials for the chronograph, and simply hitting that pusher at the 2 o'clock is going to start. Notice right there our chronograph starts, stops, and resets. Now, you're going to really appreciate the Japanese VD53 movement in here, reliable and accurate to within 10 to 15 seconds per month, just like you would expect any quartz movement. And certainly, you are going to find a lot of comfort in wearing the watch because of the style. Look at that convex crystal, the Ben & Sons name etched into the side, even a natural curvature to the case, once again, so that it is comfortable. And let's not forget you have a date complication between the 4 and 5 o'clock position. Now, I want to slip this watch on my wrist. I want you to tell me if it sits as well on the wrist as I'm describing. I think it does.
You know how people will say in fashion or even with trends, you know, what goes around comes around. And of course, we see things in magazines now or in stores, department stores that, I mean, even my mom or my grandmother say, oh, I wore that when I was your age. And it sounds trite at times, but it really is true.
Does she sound that way?
No, and she'll kill
I
me.
hope she's...
She'll kill me if she's watching this. But what I love about Ben & Sons is it really does, as you explained, bring in that old world heritage. It really does look like something that is a vintage watch that maybe was passed down to you throughout your family. And the entire brand itself, with all of the various collections, does that, has that sort of old world heritage. And for me, there's something I think it really draws me to that even though this is a 44 millimeter and perhaps it obviously is characterized as a men's timepiece, I think a lot of ladies appreciate that sort of style too, which is I think what always makes me like Ben & Sons so much.
Rudy the second, Rudy too.
Yes, Rudy too.
We were talking earlier before the show, he said, I would love to have an old World War II vintage watch that's still running. Something that has that look, like it has a history and a story to it. Would it be? I mean, think about it. Would this kind of fit that kind of an older style? Imagine, somewhere in Europe wearing this watch in your fatigues. Let's go to Europe. We need to do a show from Europe. I'm just going to make suggestions.
Swiss made from Switzerland, right? Wouldn't that be perfect?
We're going. This is just a comfortable watch to wear. I mean, look at that. That is just the perfect fit on the wrist. And if you can see that right there, there is no gapping. It is the perfect shape for the wrist. And this is going to be one of your go-to watches. Maybe you have a collection. Maybe you only have one watch. Or maybe you need a watch right now.
I'll try this on.
And this is going to be a great fit for you. This is the watch, I have some in my collection that I just know what I want to wear, which one is going to go. It doesn't matter. I'm wearing that one because it's comfortable. I like it. It fits. That's that watch.
You know what's nice is the leather strap. It already feels broken in. It
already
feels like a watch that maybe has been worn. Because even sometimes, and we see it, and we'll show you, you're able to see it with your own 2 eyes on the show. Sometimes the Croco embossed straps or even these smooth leathers, sometimes they take a little bit of time to break them in. And that's okay. That's fine. But having something that already feels so smooth and so supple on the skin in a 45 millimeter, so it's that nice mid-range size, because you don't really wear gigantic watches. I mean, you had a Renato that was quite large.
Yeah, that's the big Renato watch.
Big Renato.
The T-Rex is
but
a big watch.
I know you like
but
to stay in that.
No. And I don't wear this for a long period of time because they're heavy, they're more likely, and in fact, I'm having a watch cleaned and buffed today because it was so large, it bumped into things easily. This is the type of watch that is going to sit on the wrist very well, and you're almost going to forget that you're wearing it.
Nice and low profile, too.
Oh yeah, if you're going to wear this to the office, which is appropriate because of the leather strap and it does dress up very well with that high mirror polish, but it's also one that if you're going out to dinner, it looks very elegant, but it's also one blue jeans and a t-shirt and you're ready to go.
287-661. You also get a 5-year warranty on the movement and 100 meters of water resistance. 5 payments of $19 gets it home. $19 in any major credit card. We ship it out to you. Moving on, Glam Rock 280938. Interestingly enough, when I first started here, over 3 years ago now, I remember airing so many Glam Rock watches on this show, and I know Glam Rock watches from department stores. Much like you see Michael Kors, for example, in high-end department stores, Glam Rock is right underneath the glass, right next to Michael Kors and Techno Marine, always. I could not believe how expensive Glam Rock watches were in stores, and yet how you could buy a brand new one with us for 20% of the price, 10% of the price. In this case, it's a $700 watch for $100.
Well, you answered your own question. When you're walking through a mall, somebody has to pay for the mall. When you're going through those high-end department stores and you have things sitting around waiting for people to come to you, you're going to have to keep a price point. You're not going to be able to keep everybody, employed. Now, you have a Swiss-made movement within this 48mm case. Now, the Racetrack is a race or automotive-inspired watch. One of the things I did is I looped our dial on this, because when you take a look at this dial, you're going to think, well, that's just a print. It's not real carbon fiber. Oh, no, it is. You can actually, if you put this under a loop, you can see the weave under there and how they have manufactured that carbon fiber dial. Of course, you have a small second subdial, which is running right now, and you have a locked into place sweep hand at the 12 o'clock position that the moment I hit that pusher, you see it start to engage. The tachymeter style chapter ring there is going to, of course, give it all the ability of a tachymeter, which you can measure speed and distance. There's your start, your stop, and your reset, and you even have a date complication at the 3 o'clock position. There is a lot of style in this. And as far as the Glam Rock series, I like this one. Because some of them are, I don't want to say out there, but some of them are big and bold. They're designed to have a very strong Miami feel to them.
All of the names have most of the Glam Rock names are Art Deco, the Miami Collection, the Miami Beach Collection. They're based down here.
You know, it'd be funny if we named them. Being down in Miami, we have some interesting names that we can throw out for watches. But we like the way Glam Rock has done it, because truly they have shown the glamour that is down here. And for only $99. I mean, the wow price is very, very fair. $278 is a great price. Under $200 and you're truly winning. At under $100, $100. Are they sure that's right?
Yeah, this is almost in some ways more affordable than some of our own Redline watches.
Don't say that, because we make Redline.
You know what I love about this, and you'll see it in a moment, is that silicone strap with
comfortable.
Super comfortable, but stitched, so it's high quality, and you've got the perforation, so it looks like racing gloves.
Oh, I think that's so great. Like the Ford GT. The new one, as well as the previous one. The seats have large holes in them to take out weight to make it ventilated.
Nice.
One of the things about a silicone strap is that you can perspire. You can hold a little bit of heat. The perforation, just like it's designed in the automotive industry, takes away weight and allows a little bit of ventilation, so it doesn't feel as hot on the wrist. And if you've ever gone running with a sport watch or you're in the gym, you know what I'm talking about. This is one of the watches that's going to look great for years to come, and it really is in a far more classic style, but it doesn't look like everybody else's, so it's winning on that front. Only $20 gets it home, $280938 for the Glam Rock 48mm Racetrack. You will not regret this watch at all. Free shipping and 30-day money-back guarantee. I am delighted to show you this next watch, because in just a short period of time I shall walk down the hallowed halls of Swiss Watch International to pick up my very own version of this watch. You do not want this one to get away from you, because there's only a handful of these for the entire planet. I don't have to say a thing. All you have to do, Rudy, is just draw a close-up on this, and then people will be so mesmerized they're going to order the watch. What you are seeing is a limited edition piece. Now realize the watch designers took years to design the watch. Then, in their infinite wisdom, they decided what? To make 2,000, 20,000? 200. That's it. There are 200 of these watches for the entire planet. There's 200 in the silver tone and 200 in the rose tone gold. And that's it. Now, as you look at the watch, I want you to realize that you have the hour, the minute, and a continuously operating sweep hand that you're seeing right there. You also have a hand right here that is your secondary time zone. And Megan, as I hold this, would you be so kind with your beautiful nails to wind that watch and then watch what happens at the 6 o'clock position. Notice there's a retrograde subdial right there, and as she's winding the watch, it's showing you how much power is left within it. Now understand this is an automatic watch, which means there is a balanced rotor in the back. Let me show that just one second. This is what's going to do the work of winding the watch. Because this has sat for several days, the mere motion of picking it up started it back up again. But as Megan is winding the watch, which is an additional way of adding power to the watch, you can see it charging up right there. She's literally winding a spring, which is moving the balance wheels, which is powering the time in the gears of the watch.
Reminds me of on cars, you know, like I know a lot of cars now, the gas thing is digital. But in older cars, when you would see like almost the gas gauge, that's what it reminds me of.
Well, it is kind of a gas gauge as far as a power indicator for it. That's exactly right. And I think what you're going to appreciate if you have a lot of automatic watches, or maybe this is your first foray into the automatic watch world, is that if you pick up a watch, you don't know how much wind is left. And now if it was a mechanical, you could wind it until you feel that little bit of snug where you go, oop, time to stop winding, because you do not want to overwind a manual watch, a mechanical. With this, because the rotor is doing the winding, is it a quarter charge? Is it only got an hour charge on it? What if I'm not going to be real active? What if I'm going out to a dinner theater or to a movie and I'm going to be sitting for a while? The last thing you want is for your watch to stop working. Here, all you have to do is glance down to the 6 o'clock retrograde power reserve indicator, and you'll know. And if you feel like it's sufficient, then just pick it up and go. If you feel like you need to add a wind, you simply grab the crown, give it a few twists, and you're ready to roll. The Croco embossed leather strap really looks great on that, and there is a deployant clasp once again. I don't know if you can see that, pan down just a second, and you can see that this leather is going to do a lot of work if it was just a buckle. But because it is a deployant clasp, all I have to do is close one side. Now ideally what you want to do is before you close it, you want to insert that right under there so that when you close, it automatically just puts it under the keeper. That way you're not putting stress on the keeper. And then whatever size you've got left, you size that into it. This is going to do all the work for you so that leather lasts good for years and years to come.
Because it's a GMT, when you get this watch yourself, what are you going to set that secondary time zone for?
Thanks for asking that, Megan. I'm probably going to set this to the time zone for my son who's off in college. So I know when to call him because he's in classes and I have his schedule, but sometimes I forget to add and subtract the times. And when his phone goes off in class, they don't like that. So now I can just take a peek at our secondary time zone and go, oh, I'm sure he's playing PS4 right now. This is a good time to interrupt him and tell him to do his homework. This watch is going to save me a fortune. No, he is not at a keg party. We're going to talk later, Missy. You and I are going to talk. Do not listen to her.
Your son's going to be calling me like, don't say stuff like that to my dad,
He will ask you out.
Yeah, he's going to be tailgating for sure.
No, he's going to...
He's still taking those 11 o'clock at night classes, right? Dad, I can't talk. I'm in class right now. Rage!
Are you trying to tell me there's no 11 o'clock classes? What? You go ahead and take the show. I'm making a phone call right
getting
now.
In trouble.
You know, you are really going to appreciate truly the style that is within this watch. I cannot believe we're changing subjects and you and I are talking. You don't have a younger sister, do you?
I do.
Oh, dear. It's all over. The watch is, again, a limited edition piece. There's only 200 of the gold tone, 200 of the silver, and what you like better, gold or silver?
We always do this. I normally love black and rose. That's like my favorite color combination with watches. But the black and silver tone is really gorgeous, and I think it's a little bit more versatile. That rose tone,
I think so too.
Makes it even more dressed up. And if you're looking for a watch that you can wear to the office, maybe dressed up with a button-down shirt to a keg party, whatever it is that you're doing, that silver tone gives it a bit more versatility.
We're not airing this program. That's all there is to it.
We're live.
Oh, hi there. We want you to buy this watch. And how many do we have left? I'm sure only a handful, because I now own one. Here is one of them right here. So that means, you know, there's only 198 possibly out there. We know they've already sold a lot of them already. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
They just, you know, the voice in the head just said there's less than half the quantity. That means that half has been sold.
That's crazy.
So whether you like the gold or the silver, please consider this for your collection. I think it's going to be one of the most beautiful watches that you've ever owned, and it's at a price point you will not believe. 283089 will get you the beautiful 46mm Matador home to you.
Well, we got quite a few options of this 50mm Jetstream. You can see all of them at WorldofWatches.tv because we have aired previous shows with other color combinations of this timepiece. But we're going to bring you out 3 different variations right now. This first one is silver tone on the case and bezel with that black silicone strap. You'll notice that all 3 variations will have the same dial layout, the exact same watch, except as the colors of the plating or the stainless steel changes, the entire look of the watch totally changes too.
Do you have a favorite amongst these? Because these, I cannot believe that this is the same watch and it has 3 distinctly different looks. I have a favorite in this.
This one to me looks the most like something I would see a guy that's really a car guy wearing for some reason, because I love that all that matte finishing on the stainless steel, and look at the little bit of red on the dial and around the crown here. Personally, I like the black and rose because I think it's a bit more fashion forward. But I have a feeling the all black will be the biggest seller.
I think you're right. I think this is going to be our biggest seller. This is the one I like the best.
Yeah, me too.
There is just something about it. There's a sophistication within this. This watch is the car guy watch.
You're so unsophisticated, you car guys.
Well, no. There is just a look that's a bit more rough and ready with the car guys. They'll take good care of you.
The stainless steel with the matte finishing around this almost makes it look like titanium, or looking into the engine of a car. I know you're much more into cars and understand cars more than I do, but as somebody that would assume this.
Has driven a car once.
Yeah, somebody, I drove a car once. I see this one as almost what you would see if you opened the hood of an engine.
Well, I think there is a no frills look to this, because when you get down to, I mean, there are ways of customizing a car that looks very, I mean, it's over the top. This is very, I don't want to say utilitarian, but it is very functional. It is that no nonsense kind of look to it. Incredibly practical. Now, the fact that you have 3 distinct movements and 3 possible time zones within the watch is amazing. Please notice that you're seeing the one crown here in red that's operating the 3-hand configuration, and they did not want to complicate this, but look, hidden within the case are 2 additional crowns that easily pop out for you to adjust the 2 additional time zones. We will not be discussing that there will come a time when both my son and daughter will be gone off to college at the same time.
Oh man, there'll be a lot of tears in this studio.
I'm going to cry a river of tears. Watch Me Cry will be the name of my song. Watch Me Cry.
I got it.
I was waiting for more acknowledgement. Okay, we love that variation. We have 2 additional, and I'm going to slip on the black and rose, which is my favorite one, and Megan is going to put on our villain watch, which is the
appropriate one, triple black.
They'll never see it coming. You're always the one that people go, she was always so nice, she always said hi. All right, let's take a look at the gold. I think that both of these, and notice that's a large watch, that's a 50mm watch, but I realize that would not be your everyday watch. But
it's easy to wear.
But I
really
mean, if
easy
you're
to
going
wear.
out, if you're going to a concert, if you're going to something where you wanted to dress a bit more bold, these are great watches to do that. Now, for a lot of guys, this is going to be a very comfortable size, the 50 millimeter. Because of the shape of the case, there's a natural curvature that's right there. You can see it. It fits the wrist really well. There was a time a 50 millimeter watch would have never been on my list. Now, because of them, you know, the smart guys that are designing the watches have figured out the shape that it needs to be, the way to construct the strap. You notice the strap, let's see if we can get a good shot, right? That's perfect. Notice that it drops straight down. They're going to change to a new angle. Look at how this drops off like a waterfall and naturally falls to the wrist. And you can see it right there. It naturally does that. Doesn't matter which way you hold the watch, it's going to maintain that shape. And it's the way you wear it. It is going to be so comfortable on the wrist. Here's the deal. Maybe you've looked at larger watches, you've seen the styles and designs, and somehow you've thought, you know what, I can't wear that. Go ahead and take us up on this. Put the $20 down. Let us pay for shipping. Let us send it to you. You try it on in the comfort of your own home. If you don't like it, send it back. We'll pay for it to come back. And then we'll give you every penny back. You shop with confidence from us, and there is no hassle.
I transitioned to the triple black dial, case, and strap. I have a 6-inch wrist. Notice how it curves around, and you can see there's really no gapping and no spacing whatsoever. This is a very comfortable watch, and to echo what Wiley said, it goes back to the construction, to the curvature. Now, you're looking at these, and you can see that each one, perhaps this is the most pared down. Obviously, the black and rose is for a certain person, and then we were saying that this one looks the most like those real customized car guys are going to love. What's great about Redline is whether you get something like this, more pared down but still wild, or something from one of our other collections from Redline that has a lot of bells and whistles and a lot of look to it, what we're able to do is offer you so many different flavors of something. So while we're showing you 3 right now, if you go to WorldofWatches.tv, we've got even more of the 50 millimeter Jetstream for you to choose from. What we can both tell you is it's incredibly comfortable. You have 3 5-year warranties. That's right. Each movement has its own 5-year warranty.
That's 15 years.
Yeah, well, no, it's 5 years. But you also get 100 meters of water resistance. So these are watches that we talk a lot about shopping at the mall or going at the kiosk in the breezeways in the mall and what you expect to get for $100 or for $80 or some of the prices that we've got here. And you have to remember that with Swiss Legend and Redline and Lucien Piccard, Ben & Sons, Alini Barocas, a lot of the brands that you see on World of Watches TV, our company designs them, manufactures them, distributes them. So we, as a company or our company parents, they are able to give you factory direct pricing. I live in Miami Beach, in South Beach, and there's a pedestrian mall.
I live in a group home.
We only let them out for a few hours, a couple of times a week. In South Beach, Lincoln Road. It's a pet mall, very, very popular, all different kinds of shops there. They actually have stores that sell Lucien Piccard, Swiss Legend, and Redline watches.
At retail?
Yeah. So, for example, they have in their windows Swiss Legend Neptunes, for example. Most people know the Swiss Legend Neptune watch.
Nice watch.
They sell on sale on South Beach. I swear, hand to God. They sell for $175. Oh, I thought you were saying I was lying. My director's like, stop lying. I'm like, no, I'm not lying, okay? They sell Swiss Legends for $175 to $200 on Lincoln Road. Wow. And that is cheaper than even some other places sell them for. Mm-hmm. So with us, you never have to pay that overhead, so to speak. You never have to feel the burden of buying at a store where they have to pay employees, they have to pay a lease, they have to pay electric.
Because they don't pay employees here.
Yeah, no. And sometimes lights go out. But truly, you are buying direct from us. So you get all the same quality that you would see on a watch, 2-3 times this price in store. So you can always shop with confidence. And that's why we want you to be even more comfortable, and we give you free shipping and free returns. All right, one last look at the 50 millimeter Jetstream.
Oh.
And away we go. It's dancing. It's going.
That looks nice.
I don't know where it's going. Oh,
Speaking of looking nice, Oh, this has got to be one of my favorite variations of this watch right here. Because it takes a moment to realize all the detail with it. Because the other versions are very, pop in your face when it comes to...
That's a bit of a gunmetal color, I see.
And this is beautiful. Take a look, take a peek, see what you think. I think this is really, really nice. And I'm going to go ahead and say it because I'm sure they're not watching in Italy right now. There's something very Armani Exchange about this watch.
That's what you've said before.
And I hate to compare the two because Lucien Piccard has such a long history all in of itself that it doesn't need to be compared to anybody. It is a luxury brand. Now, I just want to say this. There's some of you out there that are in the watch world that know that before we took over Lucien Piccard, there was a time when it was just kind of holding its own. It was just kind of existing. And maybe you didn't see the fashion-forward design, you didn't see the creativity, and that's no insult to the previous owners. It's just, we are watchmakers and watch designers. And when the mad geniuses got a hold of this brand, I have one Lucien Piccard at the house, and it's an old-school Lucien Piccard.
Cool.
Beautiful watch. It's got a few years on it. And this is the first time now with our new collection that I decided to start adding Lucien Piccard again.
Oh, that's nice.
And I think it's a tremendous compliment when a company comes out with such a passion, because it says to those fans out there, we remember you, and we have your old friend right here. Here's a watch that has such a classic look. It's 45mm case. Look at the fit and finish on this watch. I don't care how close up you get to the watch. It has so much. I mean, look at that. Look at the mirror polish that you can actually see into our studio. When you look into that dial and realize that is a multi-layered dial, and it takes a moment for the light to capture all of the dimension that is within it. Now, it's easy to read the time. It's a three-hand configuration, the hour, the minute, and you also have a sweep hand that's locked in at the 12 o'clock position. There's your start, your stop, and your reset. You also have a date complication there at the 6 o'clock position. And look at the beautiful high mirror polish on the back of this watch. Now you have a reliable Japanese movement in here. You have a Sapphitech crystal, which you know is incredibly scratch resistant. You have 316L stainless steel, and you have this beautiful rose stone gold plating that is over it. And it goes deep with the microns of gold so that it is going to last. Just like you said with your boyfriend, he said, I don't want a gold, a gold painted watch. I don't want something where it's going to flake off.
And he was asking that about a Raymond Weil.
Oh, gasp.
I know, that's what I said. I was like, have you
And
learned,
you're
have
still
you
with
learned
him?
nothing?
You're still with him?
Yeah, because I'm able to shame him on television now.
Because you're supposed to be dating my son.
Girl can dream.
We're going to talk about your Facebook pictures. Like some of the early ones.
Yeah, I'm very popular with the 19 and under crowd.
Lucien Piccard has done a great job.
And that means serving 19 years and under in a federal prison.
Yes, according to the paperwork. 45mm case looks great on my 6 3/4 inch wrist, and I think this is the perfect watch for the office, going out to dinner. Maybe you have some high-end functions you want to go to. You know what's great about this watch too? Is if you need the look and feel of a high-end watch, but you are reluctant to take maybe a very, very expensive timepiece with you. Maybe you're going on vacation and you don't want to be apologetic about, well, I got a $10 Casio from Walmart. And no, you don't have to do that. You can have a watch that has all the look and feel, because it's a $500 watch, but you're not even paying the wow price of $200. You've got it for under $120. There's no apologies about this watch. If your boyfriend, picked you up looking all cleaned up and spiffy and wearing this watch, would you think, oh,
Where have you been?
who are you wearing that for? This is one of those, if you're at the captain's table on the cruise you're going on, you don't have to apologize. Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't bring the good stuff. Well, this is it. I mean, there are no apologies about this watch whatsoever. Of course, you have stick markers at all the hour indices, except for the Arabic numerals at the 12 and 6 o'clock position. Easy to read, fantastic watch. 287722 will get this home. $24 is your only expense of your first 5 stress-free payments, and then each month until that comes to the $119, and you're going to be very, very pleased.
I'm going to make a prediction that this color combo, this timepiece is going to be a sleeper hit for the holiday season.
I think you're
happen
right.
to think that the dial is exquisite. And the fact that they've got that record or CD texture that is then replicated by the step-down bezel design just shows the symmetry in this timepiece. There's so much detail work in this. In fact, you know what? If it's okay,
Please.
I'm going to take it from you and we'll set up a close shot so you can see what we've got going on here. What's interesting about this timepiece is you've got these two sub-dials, but it's not a chronograph timepiece because in fact the larger of the two, the 6 o'clock position, is your continuous running seconds for your timekeeping. And then earlier how we talked about an AM PM indicator, you can see that's what your 12 o'clock sub-dial is. So this is a traditional really 3-hand movement, just broken down a bit. But look at when the light hits it, the texture inside the dial
The record
there.
style.
So gorgeous.
Megan, I picture someone driving an old 1930s, 1940s Packard. This is a V8 symbol that would have been on the car.
Oh, wow.
Does it not look? I mean, for those of you who might remember the old style V8 symbol that was on the front of certain automobiles, this has that look. It almost feels like it's drawing you back in time. Because you look at the stepped bezel, that's almost Art Deco. That bracelet looks almost like 1920s, 1930s, and look how it perfectly fits. Notice that the bezel steps down, but then right where the lug meets, it steps in just a step for the bracelet. Beautiful watch.
I love that the lug area is also a little bit wider. We talk sometimes about T-bar style lugs, which are those literal T's that attach bracelets to cases. And that's almost a modified design here. And coming in close on the bracelet, we've talked about this on the show before. The bracelet is a superstar as well. It is truly a jewelry quality bracelet. Look at how all of the links meet up perfectly without any kinking or binding. And keeping that symmetry look, they even give you the pry open clasp. So there's no push button, there's no fancy clasp here. You just pop open both sides of that bracelet. But one last look in here before I pass it back to Wiley to try on. Look at all that design, that texture that matches up with that step-down bezel, the two sub-dials that flow perfectly into each other. This is what you're seeing a lot of from Lucien Piccard. Now, this is a quartz movement. This uses a Japanese quartz movement inside. A lot of these new Lucien Piccards we've seen have automatic movements, and we're experimenting with all different sorts of designs. But something like this, to me, is worth way more than the $125. And in fact, if you look for other designs similar to this, you won't find them for less than $500. Passing it back to Wiley to try on, because I'd love for men to be able to see it with a dress shirt. This is really one option. I talked about this about a month ago on the show. My girlfriend, her husband is turning 30, actually coming up in a few days. And she wanted to get him a watch. He just got a new corporate job. We got him a Lucien Piccard Trevi, which is a really cool one. It's got the crown that almost looks like a key.
Oh, that is a beautiful
Gorgeous,
watch.
absolutely gorgeous. But this is another one that we were kind of deciding between. It's just got enough to keep it interesting, but if maybe the Matador and the San Marco and the automatics are too complicated or too stylized, this is a great way to go. It's kind of understated style.
This watch looks so elegant, but not dainty. There is a level of sophistication to the watch, but it doesn't look stuffy. In fact, it looks vintage. It looks like you have just incredibly good taste. And that's a compliment not just to the watch designers, but for you for selecting it. And again, with what I'm wearing right now, I would wear this easily. But then again, if I was wearing blue jeans and a nice button down, I feel like this watch is going to go with me and be fine.
I love a silver tone watch, a blue dial, when guys wear it with blue jeans. I think it's just a nice way to add a little color, even to maybe a more plain outfit. Well, I suppose we've got to say goodbye to the Polaris because we are moving now into our second hour where every single item will be Swiss made.
Now, does Swiss made mean that it's going to be expensive? I don't want folks to leave and think,
No,
you
no,
know
no,
what?
don't go anywhere.
They're going to the Swiss made. It's going to be high-end stuff. It's going to be thousands of dollars. Here's what's going to amaze you. Can Swiss made be thousands of dollars?
Of course.
Yes. But you'll be amazed that there are things right at a little over the $100 price point that are all Swiss made.
And then you've got the 5 and 6 payments on everything too. Wow. Swiss made, this is an hour, as Wiley said, you're going to see a lot of savings. You're going to see retail prices that are $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, and we're going to tell you, yes, you're really going to save $7,000 on this watch and pay it off in 6 months. But as Wiley said, even some of our own brands like Swiss Legend, we now offer Swiss-made watches. And we'll explain a little bit more as we go throughout this hour what it means to be a Swiss-made watch and what that difference is between a watch that maybe just has a Swiss-made movement. Because when you're talking about watches and you're building that collection, this is the collector's hour, so to speak. This is really what we all would strive for, the highest quality from the mecca of watchmaking itself, Switzerland. So we're going to jump into a little preview and show you what's coming up in our Swiss Made Hour.
You've got to love this watch. This is absolutely gorgeous.
This is, I believe, an offshoot of the X1 that you like so much. That's the chronograph 200-meter diver.
That's the one I want them to get me for Christmas here, and they should get you this one.
Oh, yes.
Would you not be happy?
I would be very happy.
I mean, look at that. And is that mother of pearl?
That has all silver tone.
No,
it's a monochromatic look, but they do that almost pearlescent silver tone.
It really does. It has almost a pearl tone to it. That is gorgeous.
Ebel makes, in my opinion, some of the best bracelets. The watches are gorgeous, but it's the jewelry quality bracelets that get me every time. 248-279, $800. Here's a perfect example. $800 for a $2,500 watch.
Coming up right behind that is the 38mm Blue Genève Swiss Legend. Now, this watch has so much style to it. The feel, the weight, the finish in this new collection is superior to anything that I've seen Swiss Legend do. And this is that watch that the moment you put it on, you're going, I've made the right choice. And for $189 for an all Swiss made watch, are you kidding me? So, you know, this is phenomenal. And we don't want you for a moment to let these watches get away from you. And what do you like best about that?
Well, what we're actually doing right now, we're going to get the correct graphic up because we are going to show the watch that you're seeing in this video shot. We'll get you the item number for it. Yeah, this is actually the 48mm size.
Because we do have a smaller version.
Oh yeah, we've got a 38mm in a multifunction.
It's hard to tell with the pictures. That's why we want to make sure we have the right one.
This is the biggest size. I've made the Blue Genève collection, the brand new Swiss-made Blue Genève collection, my hot pick on the show since they debuted a week ago. I love these watches. I'm crazy about this color combo. We've talked about this. The two-tone of the rose and silver tone, and then that royal blue dial and bezel. It's exquisite. It reminds me of that luxury, like when we see brands like Breitling or Rolex play around with color, but it doesn't feel gimmicky or cartoonish. We've now done it with Swiss Legend. 287-829. $40 gets home a Swiss-made watch. You love these watches. This is the one I was talking about.
Speaking of Swiss-made, the Ebel X1 chronograph has got to be one of my favorite variations because if you wanted to have the ultimate luxury dive watch, the company's been building watches since 1911. They are the architects of time. That's their motto. And here, both in a silver tone or the gunmetal, you have this watch that has 200 meters of water resistance, plus you have that unirotating bezel, plus, as you said, one of the most comfortable bracelets on the planet, and that great ETA movement in there. And it's going to be reliable, it's going to be accurate, it's going to be an attention getter, because I think most folks out there, whether they're watch nuts or not, they know that name.
You know, we see gunmetal used a lot in some of our own brands, but rarely do we see it in other brands out there, third-party brands. So I like that this one's all gunmetal.
Oh, this is gorgeous.
It's a bit different.
Again, you've said the magic words. It doesn't look like everybody else's watch.
Absolutely. Quick mention here. I want to show you right on the wrist. My hot pick. We aired this last hour in its full debut, if you will. The 38mm Modern Mariner from Luminox. This is a watch that, in a lot of ways, would encompass my own personal style, my own personality. I like things that are versatile, that I could wear them to the office. Well, if I worked in an office, I could wear them here, I should say. Or that I could wear to the gym, to the beach, hanging out on the weekends. This is a watch, and I know we shouldn't say this because we work on the show so many times. This is one of those watches where you don't need much else. Because this is a watch with 200 meters of water resistance. Boom, it's automatically your vacation watch. But it's black with a black leather strap. It's great for that edgy, wearing it with blue jeans and maybe a jacket. It's easy to wear with a cocktail. This is the kind of watch that you can wear with everything in a size that I think, even if you've got under a 6-inch wrist, because what I've got is a 6-inch wrist, even if your wrist is smaller than 6 inches, they're accommodating for you, down to 5 inches here.
And because people know the name Luminox, if you're wearing that, if you're dressing up, even though the watch may look a little aggressive, they know you're wearing a $650 accessory.
Yeah, of course, so you can get away with it no matter what. 200 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystal, Swiss-made watch, and then of course the tritium, which are all those little dashes. Those are glass tubes that are for your lume. So that is not a lume you ever have to charge. It's always glowing. It's actually glowing right now, the same as it would be if I were to put it in the box and not show it to you again for 5 years. $2 a day if you use the stress-free payments. Think about it like that. $2 a day. 242-385.
Now, my top pick is one of our own brands. It's the Lucien Piccard San Marco. The moment I saw this, I realized this was one of the most beautiful timepieces I think has come out of our collection from Lucien Piccard. It meets all that criteria of the appropriate watch decoration on the dial. I like a skeletonized movement, but sometimes that's difficult to read, and I guess maybe that's a bit not what you want to do every day. This is that watch that, because of the Côte de Genève in the upper half of the dial, which is the Geneva waves that are running through the blue part of the dial, it adds texture. The 4 openings, 3 of them subdials, one of them is going to be a secondary time zone. One is going to allow you a glimpse into the inner workings of the watch. One is a moon phase. And then at the very bottom, you have the beating heart of the watch and that very stylized and decorated filigree bridge. Now, the watch is 44 millimeters. It has a Sapphitech crystal. It has the ZS2015 movement, which is a 22 joule automatic. 30 meters of water resistance in this dress watch. I love the fact that if I got caught in the rain, pushed in the pool, because everybody has dropped their phone in the water, everybody has had somebody push them in the pool, knowing that my watch would be okay because it's not a delicate flower really is a good thing. 316L stainless steel, Croco embossed leather strap. All of this not for the $600 price point, which is where it should be at, or even the $300 wow price, but half of the wow price. $154.99, only $31 gets it home. Congratulations, this is my top pick. This should be a bestseller. And remember, you have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and there's free shipping.
First watch of the hour comes to us from Ebel. This is the ladies' 34 millimeter version of that X1 chronograph that we showed you in gunmetal in the preview. Ebel watches, as we've talked about on the shows, and as I learned from you, Wiley, Ebel is known as the architects of time.
Don't you love that?
I do, because I think it's quite a, I love when watches or their brands or whatever have some of that sort of like romance to them. Because what you'll notice a lot with Ebel watches is the fluidity of their designs. One of my favorite Ebel collections is a collection called the Ande. And what they do is very, very different from this collection. It's a company that every single watch collection feels custom. And in a world where we see so many watches look like, okay, this case was pulled off this shelf, this bracelet was pulled off this shelf, it's nice when you can have a classic look. No crazy bells and whistles, no wild shapes here or colors, but it doesn't feel like it was just another one off the shelf. Everything is monochromatic silver tone. Now, I know I've said this on the shows and it's worth repeating. I believe a silver tone watch is a wardrobe staple, ladies. It is that little black dress or that nice pair of black high heels that you can wear with everything. Maybe you have that one great pair of shoes or that one handbag that you've had for years that you can dress up, dress down. That's what a silver tone watch is. Black tie or blue jeans, it goes. It really goes with everything. And that's what this watch is. Imagine having that watch that you can wear with everything, and it's $800 off the total price of $2,500. So you are less than a third of that total price. Monochromatic silver tone with a nice dial there where you can see the raised hour markers and hands. All of that's filled with Swiss Super Luminova, and I'm letting you see that little flash of blue so you can see the anti-reflective coating over a sapphire crystal, of course. Unidirectional rotating bezel gives it more of that luxury diver look that we see so many Swiss-made watches going after. And here, that fluidity, that symmetry of what I think is one of the most gorgeous bracelets in the watch world. Notice how even the push button dual deploying clasp is hidden almost among the links of the bracelet. Perlage decoration. You can see it's just detail everywhere you look.
Do you know why they have so much detail? The family who started the Ebel, which was Eugene Bloom and Alice Levy, which is where you get the letters Eugene Bloom et Levy, which is an acronym Ebel. They have a history with architecture and design. So they wanted the design to be as important as the watch itself, and that's why they have pushed for so much luxury and design and style in their watches.
That's so interesting. I love the fact about the name.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Here's how it plays on my 6-inch wrist. Bracelet is very, very short. Ladies, no larger than a 6.5-inch wrist for this style. We do make other Ebels or have other Ebels on our website that can accommodate a larger wrist. But if you've got a 6.5-inch wrist and under, look at how stunning this would be. Every single day you can wear this now, 15, 20, 30 years from now. It's a timeless design. So if you can set aside $130 a month, because I would do the payments. Think about that. A $2,500 watch. If you can afford $133 a month, we'll be shipping this to you after your first payment. You're wearing it within a matter of days. 284-279. Look at how gorgeous that is. And notice that the case, even the shape of the case, is nearly the same shape as the lug area. Everything about this is so symmetrical and beautiful. One last look on the wrist. Here's how it would play on my 6-inch wrist. Easy to wear, date window at the 6 o'clock position. Either side of that, you can see the words Swiss made.
I realize that's not a gentleman's watch. I'm going to try it on because I have a 6 3/4-inch wrist to see if perchance, because I'd hate for somebody to miss out getting a watch that...
Does it fit?
You know what? It does. I mean,
Okay.
I realize that is not a gentleman's watch.
No, but if a lady had a 6 3/4-inch wrist, I suppose it
I'm going to
does.
say up to almost a 7-inch wrist. Because I'm 6 3/4 and they're still...
Could you remove a link?
Yes, easily.
Okay, all right, I stand corrected. Thank you for
No,
doing
I mean,
that.
I don't want anybody to miss this
I'm
beautiful
glad
watch.
you did that. Okay,
Hey,
so let's say up to 7 inches.
they've even done perlage inside the clasp. They're just such a classy watch.
284-279. 6 payments of $133 gets it home.
Coming up next. Oh, well.
Perfect.
What a nice transition. The architects of time, once again, Eugene Bloom et Levy, is showing us a gentleman or a lady's watch because you could easily wear this. I mean, this is one of the watches that I have to say, again, I only have 10 of these, and that is if I could only have one watch. One of the watches that if you were going to say, that's it, you can't have any other watches, just one in your collection, what would you choose? This falls into that list because it is so classic in its configuration. It is so comfortable to wear. 100 years from now, this is still going to be beautiful. Megan, have you ever seen a car that you just thought was the most beautiful thing, and then after a year or two you go, nah, not so much?
I've seen a lot of things like that.
Well, sure. I mean, there are clothes that you buy and you go, why did I buy that?
Yes. That's...
Have you looked back at photos of you? Because I have. And you begin to find things that you just go,
What the hell was I thinking?
well, and
Haircuts, everything. Boyfriends.
like yesterday.
It's all very
And
embarrassing.
this is one of those watches that the moment you put it on, I mean, that's just comfortable. I mean, truly, there is a smoothness all the way around on this watch that if I couldn't have another timepiece, I'm okay with that. And I'm not sure we can capture this. Maybe it's going to take a little bit closer shot, but right around that coin edge and around the subdials, there is just a bit of iridescence. You can see it on the lip that's holding in the crystal. Can you see it right there, Megan? And around the coin edge, there's just a bit of a polish that's different than the rest of the watch. See if I can capture it just, there it is. See that little glimmer that's coming off of, in real life, not looking at it through television, or if you're not capturing us in high definition, that you have to realize that there is bright work that's along the edges that truly is beautiful and makes the watch stand out. It's just, if you're going to have a luxury piece, I guess they had to throw their bling in just a little bit here and there. You're going to really appreciate even the style of the pushers are rounded. They're not piston style. They're almost like BBs that are just half recessed into the case. Incredibly comfortable to press. You'll also notice the crown is also in that same sort of design. Yeah, there's just a little machining that's going on around that crown, and it looks great. I'm going to slip this off. I want you to see the back of the watch and realize how smooth it is. And that's truly a screwed-in back on the case. Not a screw-down, but a screwed-in back with multiple screws that hold it in place, which is going to give you that 200 meters of water resistance. A simple hit of the pusher is going to start our chronograph, stop, and then, of course, there's our reset right there. I love the fact that you have all the functionality in this small case of a full chronograph, and it's still easy to read. It doesn't feel jumbled up. And you even have a date complication there at the 6 o'clock position. Hour, minute, and there is your continuously operating sweep hand as a small seconds. This is an incredible value to have this $3,000 watch, over 66% off the retail price, $999. You're going, that's way too much. Well, would it make it easier if we offer the watch at $166.66 over 6 payments with no interest, no hassle, and no stress, no shipping charge, and a money-back guarantee? Consider this for your collection. I think it's one of the most beautiful watches that Ebel makes, and it's incredibly comfortable to wear. So if that's a possibility, please give us a call. We want you to have that watch. Luminox. Since 1989, Luminox has been building tough watches. The Swiss at a 28-26 automatic movement is going to be reliable and accurate. And one of the things that you need for a great dive watch, now this has, as you look at the bezel, you're seeing certainly a circular design, but notice the shape of the case is a tonneau shape. Now, on watches that are dive watches, you want to be able to have a unirotating bezel. Well, you can try all day long to move that, but you have to release the crown protector before it'll move. Once that is in place, it'll only go in one direction, and you'll notice there is a sharp point right here that locks that into place so that you can't move it. Now, that could be life or death if you're in a serious dive situation. Well, this is a serious dive watch. There is no two ways about it. I mean, take a look. Let me flip that over so you can see that.
I love the diving bell on the case back. It reminds me of how Tag Heuer on their dive watches, they use the diving bell. And that's what they've got right there.
Come into focus so they can see that just a little bit better. There we go. Oh, much better. The watch is, you need to know their serious aspirations when it comes to using this watch. This should be an indicator right there. That is your helium release valve. Why do you need a helium release valve on this watch? It's not 200 meters, which would make it a professional dive instrument. It is 500 meters of water resistance. Of course, that is emblazoned right there. It's your bragging rights. You're going to have to go to an Abysos if you're going to go deeper, or some of our very, very expensive watches to get better than that. But they're one of those things even the Abysos won't have, is what you're about to see when the lights go out. Remember, the tritium-filled tubes, which you're seeing all the way around the dial and on the hands, also are going to be there when the lights go out. A continuously glowing inert gas. Take a look at this lume shot and you can see just how great that looks. If you're diving and you take a look at your watch, that's glowing back at you. What if I didn't have a chance to put it in sunlight? What if I didn't have a chance to charge it up? Constantly glows. You'll also notice that as you begin to latch the watch, that the clasp is almost in the shape of Triton's Poseidon's pitchfork, the Triton, because it is a tri-point that holds it in place. It's just the reassurance that the strap is going to stay buckled up. Take a look at this watch, 44 millimeters on my wrist. It is a great fit. Now, whether you wear this just diving or if you wore it every day, it's going to be incredibly comfortable. Look at how much strap there is. And there's also easily cinching down to a much smaller wrist. Why do they give you so much strap on this watch? Because you may want to put it over a wetsuit. Maybe you want to put it over a rash guard or something if you're going out in the water and you want to make sure that you still have room. Don't worry, you have plenty of strap. I think this watch is incredibly comfortable to wear, and it's one you're going to want to add to your collection. Is it $2,000? No. Is it 50% off? Let's go even better. It's not $1,000. It's not $900. It's $899.99, right at that $900 price point. And if that's too much, realize for only $150, you can get this watch home. That's your first of 6 stress-free, interest-free payments. 285612. will get you that great watch home to you.
Now we're going to move into some of the Swiss Legend Blue Genève collections. The Blue Genève collection is the all-new Swiss-made Swiss Legend that does come in a variety of sizes. We've got 38 millimeters, 42 millimeters, 46, and 48. The one that you're seeing here is a 48 millimeter, and that's, you can tell, because it's got the all-new Swiss ISA 8371 quartz chronograph movement. Now, as Wiley and I recently learned from our creative director here, Niso Barocas, the ISA 8371 is one of the newest movements from the ISA Corporation, and it actually took the company, ISA themselves, 5 years of development to give you this quartz chronograph movement. That 6 o'clock subdial will give you accuracy for your chrono down to 1/10 of a second. Your 2-3 o'clock subdial reflects your currently displayed hours, and that 9-10 o'clock subdial is the short time totalizer. So you can time something for up to 30 minutes.
I like these watches. Now, give us just a moment. This one right here is so new. They're literally just taking a moment to clean it up so that it is picture perfect for you. And we have multiple variations of this watch, and you're going to really, really appreciate the beauty of it. And you know that I like the white one. This one is just a clean look all the way around. I mean, you want to talk about new. This is right out of the packaging.
Yeah, these are about, what, a week and a half old?
Yeah, these are brand new. These are newborns. I want you to just take a peek for a moment. And you have a favorite in this collection?
This one right here.
Why that one?
I
Is it the
love,
blue?
I think that the blue mixed with the rose and silver tone just makes it look the most luxurious, but also it's a bit more unique, so to speak.
I
But
think the
you love this
versatility, I think this is the business watch. This is the one that just says, I made it. Because it doesn't shout at you. It is obviously a well-designed, the weight of the watch tells you that there is a lot of quality and of construction in there. I think this one, the two-tone, is the most versatile. But there's something very elegant. You have to have a bit of swagger. You have to have a bit of
You gotta be
gravitas.
like our director.
Oh, yes. No. You have to have a bit of gravitas. Just that kind of confidence with the gold. I mean, this is a bold watch. And yes, I think, you think about the folks here, this is just one of the collections that it's easy to make a right choice because they all look so good. Now, as you take a moment to look at this watch, I want you to see that you have a 3-hand configuration. I got to make sure that's on. And I want you to just take a peek just for a second. There's your start, your stop, and of course your reset. You're watching that as it swings around. You also have your 3 additional subdials with your small seconds at the 3 o'clock position. You also have your 2 totalers for your chronograph, and you have a shape that's reminiscent of some very, very high-end watches. Now, this would have been real easy to do in enamel. Unfortunately, enamel has the ability to chip off, and if it does, it really starts to look very, very poorly for the watch. The ceramic bezel has been used instead, and that is one of the most difficult substances to scratch or damage. So the fact that you happen to have, the Sapphitech crystal, which is going to have a 10-year warranty, almost impossible to scratch. You have the ceramic, you have 316L stainless steel, you have the ISA 8371 movement, 200 meters of water resistance, and the dodecagon shape of the case, you have an awful lot of style, design, and elements that are far beyond that $195 price point. Now, you happen to like the two-tone better, don't you?
I do like the two-tone. I'm always partial to two-tone timepieces, and especially when they do feature some pop of rose in them. This is, as I mentioned earlier, the biggest size. And what I like is that the Blue Genève collection does have so many different sizes you can purchase it in. So that way, maybe you're not the kind of guy or gal that wants a 48 millimeter. We've got 46. Right now, we're showing you all 48 millimeter cases. But it's nice that there's some versatility when you're on our website to where, well, so it's not like, oh, sorry, you don't like this in a 48 millimeter. Too bad. We'll accommodate you with another size. And I appreciate that. It doesn't have to be a one-size-fits-all wrist.
Well, and I think the fact that they have chosen to do that, I was a little surprised that I saw all the selections. Because it is either, you have the full size or the smaller version. That's it. Those are your choices. Here, I think they were so confident about the design, they wanted to make sure, whether male or female, large, medium, or small, that anybody could wear the watch. Now, size in watch cases is entirely personal preference. Gentlemen, if you like the smallest size and that fits your wrist, ladies, if you like the largest size watch, wear what you enjoy. Because watches are as much a fashion statement as they are practical. But I love the fact that even though cell phones have kind of taken away some of the folks who might have worn watches in the past, there is that entire collection of folks who have rediscovered the beauty of a timepiece. And how many times have we watched movies or TV shows, and what is the star always wearing? You don't ever see, when it comes time to figure out what time it is, them looking at their cell phones.
No, they always have watches.
And you and I will try to figure out which ones they are.
We love that.
I think that looks great. This is
gorgeous.
absolutely beautiful. And we have one more variation. We're going to show you a beauty shot of the rose tone gold so that you can see which of the 3 best suits your design. Now, you like that one too, don't you?
I do. I love black and rose. That's definitely the most jewelry quality. That is the one that to me is the most high fashion. And it's cool because as you're going to start seeing with all of these Swiss-made Swiss legends coming out, this is going to be where the brand is going. And it's going to be sport luxury. It's going to be for the gentleman or the lady, because I've got a variation to show you coming up in a few moments. It's going to be for the gentleman or the lady that wants to take a fashion risk or make a statement, but it's still appropriate enough to be worn to the office. You can still make a statement while maintaining some class or without looking too wild. Because sometimes you and I both, we love watches that maybe are strictly casual, or sometimes we wear watches from certain brands that are so big or so wild that you can't really wear them everywhere, or it wouldn't be, if you worked in a professional environment, appropriate. I think that with these blue Genèves, you get kind of that versatility. I'll show you a ladies one in a few moments where the colors you can play around with, the sizes, anything that you want to do, but yet they're Swiss made. The designs are still elegant enough to where if you've got it with a dress or with a button-down shirt, it's appropriate. It doesn't look cartoonish, if you will. Before we air any more, though, it's the halfway point of our time together.
Really?
We have made it to the halfway point. This is our favorite time. This is where we get to do the top 10. We actually get to see what the best-selling items of the show are so far. Because they happen in real time, being that we're a live show, we have no idea what is going on. So right now, people, maybe you, are purchasing watches either on the website or with our call center, and so they're actually calculating what number 9 is going to be, or number 8, number 7, so forth. But what we do know is this one is number 10, yes?
Question.
Answer.
What happens if they see a watch pop up that they didn't see on the show?
Well, that means you guys are shopping on the website. WorldofWatches.tv. We've got the entire lineup from today's show posted there, plus about 100 to 200 additional watches, and we do this every week. So we actually probably have other color variations of the Blue Genève. In fact, I know we do. Or some of these other watches that you saw in the first hour or next hour. So where we can't go through 300 watches in 3 hours as much as we would like to.
And remember, that's hundreds of additional watches with markdowns. There are thousands of watches on the website.
That's right. WorldofWatches.tv, though, you get the stress-free payments. All right, number 10 is...
See what it is?
This is the 46 millimeter Blue Genève.
That's nice.
This is the size that you said you liked.
It is. The 48 is a very nice watch. It has a great presence, but if I was going to wear it every day, the 46 is the perfect fit. It hugs the wrist. It doesn't stand up too high. It accommodates my wrist really well. And for somebody else out there, it may be the 48 or it may be the smaller size. Here in the two-tone, it is incredibly versatile because, again, if you're wearing silver, if you're wearing gold, if you're needing that pop of black to come through, it's all of that without having to choose. It's kind of like having your shampoo and conditioner all in one. So, thank you for laughing.
Which is such a guy thing, because do any women
and body
do
wash.
stuff like
do
that?
you realize
I know,
that
I've
they
seen
make...
the 3-in-1s. It's so gross. Well, for, like, I mean, would a woman ever use that? Chances are no.
I have so many things to say, but it will not be to my
don't have enough
benefit.
time.
287-839 for the Swiss Legend. Congratulations for, oh, look at that. Bobby texted me yesterday and said, I didn't get to see these watches. Tried to make sure you guys show them.
Yeah.
So here they are. Hopefully he's the one buying them all. Here's the 46mm Legacy chronograph. This is such a good looking watch, and I have to tell you that I did a product video today for a quorum that has a very similar look to this. The ISA 8371 movement in here is a fantastic movement in this watch, and the 200 meters of water resistance means this watch is ready to take you from the boardroom to the surfboard, and you're going to have a great look and comfort with this watch. Only $224? That's amazing.
Coming at number 8 is another blue Genève. This is going to be in one of the smaller sizes. This is the 38mm. 287-834. I love, love, love this blue. I've said that, but you know what's special about the 38 and the 42 in this collection? Mother of pearl. It's not a blue painted dial. That is a mother of pearl dial painted a rich royal blue to match the royal blue ceramic bezel insert. Now this is a multifunction. It is not the same ISA movement because this one, that 6 o'clock subdial is a secondary time zone. That 9 o'clock subdial is your day of the week. 3 o'clock is your calendar date. In my opinion, that's the kind of movement I like. $190, even better, we're $38 a month, ladies. 38mm case here, fits beautifully on the wrist. Bracelet can accommodate over an 8-inch wrist, but we do have other sizes if you want to see some of those. Item number 287-834, one of my favorite color combos at number 8. Number 7, another blue Genève. Gosh, we are so excited that you guys are loving these Swiss-made watches as much as we are. 287-827 coming in at number 7. Here we're back at the full-size 48mm with the ISA 8371 quartz chronograph movement. 5-year warranty on that, 10-year warranty on the Sapphitech crystal. Between the scratch resistance of that sapphire-like crystal and the ceramic bezel insert, you'd be hard-pressed to screw up that dial or bezel.
It's going to look good for years to come.
Absolutely.
When you have an investment like this, have a watch that you know is still going to look good years and years later, that's worth your time and money. And at this price point, it's a no-brainer.
$40 gets it home. 287-827, all 200-meter divers as well.
TW Steel, just the opposite of what we were talking about earlier, because this is the all blacked out. We were talking about white watches from TW Steel. How about the all blacked out one? This 45mm case, it's called the Cool, and you're going to look at because it has not only that blacked out look with just a pop of color coming from that sweep band, but also from the canteen style protector over the crown. This is one of those watches that the moment you put that calfskin leather on, you realize, man, this watch feels custom fit, and that's what TW Steel does. They make watches that you just feel like that was made for me. $650 if you want to go to the department stores, $260 if you wait till midnight on Sunday. Right now, $139.
Coming in at number 5, looks like you guys are all about the Russian-style diver watches. Here, it's not a 45mm. This is a 52mm from U-Boat. The left hook IFO limited edition also means that Miota movement inside is in there upside down and backwards to accommodate the left-handed configuration of the timepiece. Yes, it is big, bad, and bold, but look at the price. Much smaller than that retail price. $460 for a $2,600 timepiece. Even better are the payments, $92 it ships. Coming in at number 4, I almost made this watch my hot pick today.
Why do you like this one? Why that one?
I own a 39mm Raymond Weil on bracelet. I own the Tango, and this just spoke to me. I love that rich, almost ivory or beige colored dial. This, from the bezel to the case, even the case back, all plated in 18 karat gold tone. Genuine leather strap, so it's black and gold. You've got a beautiful Swiss-made Ronda movement inside that has been modified by Raymond Weil, of course. The big date complication at the 12 o'clock position. Check it out. A $1,400 watch for $500. Take my advice, ladies and gentlemen. If you want a foray into Swiss-made watches, we have incredible, incredible savings on Raymond Weil watches. Look at this, $100. If you can spend $100 a month on something nice for yourself, make it a $1,400 Swiss-made watch. 202-235.
And right behind that, one of our own favorite watches is the Ben & Sons, the 44mm Mercury. Now, you're getting a great field-style watch. It has that sense of adventure, like you're ready to travel the world. And that beautiful tan, genuine leather strap on there looks incredible. The VD53 Japanese movement is going to be reliable, accurate, and it really does have a vintage feel. The only thing that brings it into the 21st century are those pops of color that let you know it certainly has modern design as well as craftsmanship. You have a date complication between the 4 and 5 o'clock position, and this in that all black IP plating is going to take you, whether it's to the office, all the way onto that adventure to the other side of the world. 287678 will get you the Mercury.
Look what's number 3.
The watch that I'm wearing right now is the San Marco. That's a 44mm case, and the Sapphitech crystal protecting both the front and back of this watch because you have a beautiful exhibition back on the watch. The ZS2015 movement is going to be a 22 jewel automatic, and even though it's a dress watch, 30 meters of water resistance. And whether you look at the 12 o'clock position with the moon phase or the 9 o'clock with your secondary time zone, look at the 3 o'clock and you have a window into the inner working of the watch. Then at the 6 o'clock position, you have a beating heart configuration with a filigree bridge over that that gives you such a look of elegance. The Cote de Genève that's on the dial really adds such pop to this watch. Not that you needed any more help, because the watch in and of itself is stunning. That 316L stainless steel is going to look good for years to come. So if you do get a few bumps and scratches, don't worry, it's going to polish up and look great. And with that Sapphitech crystal, it's going to be scratch-free for generations. You also have a deployant clasp on that Croco embossed leather strap, so it's easy to adjust it, but it also is another touch of luxury, all for under $155. $31 gets it home, and that's a bargain. How about a 46mm Abysos? Now, we were talking about deep diving earlier. Sure, you can go ahead and buy that Luminox. It is a great value, but if you really want to go down to the ocean depths, then you have to have an Abysos. It's 46mm wide and 19mm thick because it has 1,000 meters of water resistance. It's one of those watches that you know that we have to have a lot of confidence in the Sapphitech crystal. If we can put a crystal on there that can withstand the testing and the pressure of 3,000 feet of water pressure. You have a 3-hand configuration in this automatic movement, the hour, the minute, continuously operating sweep hand, as well as a date complication at the 3 o'clock position. The curvature of the case is going to make it, even though it's a larger watch, very comfortable on the wrist. You'll be amazed at that 19mm of thickness and how well it settles in. That silicone strap, incredibly comfortable to wear, and that pop of yellow, this is one of my favorite configurations, 274853. How about another Luminox?
This is number 1.
What?
Yeah.
Your pick?
Yeah, don't you?
Okay, is this 2 days in a row?
Yes, it is. 242385, the 38mm Modern Mariner. I love knowing ladies are shopping out there. And
or small gentlemen.
Or very small gentlemen. Well, 38mm, you know what's funny? We make jokes like that, but
I wear 38 all the time.
A lot of classic timepieces are in that 38 to 40mm range.
And you wear what you like.
Absolutely. I love this watch. Ladies, congratulations. I really, really, really think this is such a value. This is one of those watches that you will not need anything else. You won't. You can wear this with jeans, you can wear it with a black dress, you can wear it to the gym. With 200 meters of water resistance, you can wear it while scuba diving. This is a brand that not only designs watches for Navy SEALs, NASA, all of our troops, both here and abroad. These are watches that are worn by our heroes. These are watches that are rugged and durable, and yet it's not overly masculine. There's not wild design here. You are looking at a classic timepiece that will last and run for years and years to come. The fact that you've got a Swiss-made watch that'll set you back $60 a month, I love this watch. I like dive watches. I like watches that have silicone straps. Okay, fine. But how nice that that dive watch now comes on leather. And yes, you can swim and dive in this leather strap. It has been specially treated to where if you do get this wet, it's not going to ruin the strap at all. So this is a watch that has that ease, that versatility to it. I have a casual gray dress on. This is a perfect watch for that. Again, wear it with your bathing suit. You can wear it to the gym. You've got a sapphire crystal, 316L stainless steel. Notice the gunmetal plating, almost done in a matte finishing for all of the Arabic numerals and the hands. But when you look at it, because you've got those tritium bulbs, those are those little white dashes, Those are actually glass tubes, and they are filled with tritium. Tritium is a self-luminous compound. So unlike, I'm showing you a Swiss Legend in the background where you can see the hands, they have a painted on superluminova. This is a gas. So it's always glowing. You don't have to worry about getting this charged up. You don't have to worry about wearing this at night and, oh no, you're not gonna have lume on it. It is always glowing.
Do you know how it does that? It does that through beta decay.
What does that mean?
Well, it means it's releasing electrons, which causes the phosphorus layer to fluoresce. That's how it does that. So that's why it decays over 25 years. So a quarter century from now, if you want to give us a call, we'll help you out with that. But I think you're okay. It's fantastic technology. In fact, it's one of the notable technologies of Luminox. That's why the U.S. Coast Guard, the U.S. Air Force, the U.S. Navy SEALs, that is why all the way down to the U.S. bobsled team
Cool.
has all partnered with them because they have found the technology and the style and the durability to meet them. That's why, like Tony Kanaan, the race car driver, and others have so used Luminox, and you're going to love it too.
Well, congratulations, ladies. You're going to love it as well. $2 a day if you use the stress-free payments, 242-385. And shall we move on? Want to do a quick reminder here. You try it on this time.
Oh, this is our super duper value.
This is a huge value here. Very quickly, go right to the wrist with it. This is Caravelle, New York. Caravelle is owned and designed by Bulova Corporation. They are headquartered in New York. You are getting that same great Bulova flair and design for a much more affordable price. And yes, I know it sounds crazy, but at $9 a payment, it's perhaps the most affordable watch of the show.
This is just one of those watches that if you want to have a completely different style and design, but you don't want to just, okay, I don't want to buy an inexpensive watch or a no-name watch, but I would like to try maybe something a little bit more fashion forward, the clean look and style of the lines. I want something that really has a presence, but I don't want to spend a lot of money. Well, yeah, you can wait and buy this in a department store for $100. And you've got a good watch. Buy it at $82 at the wow price, and you've saved $30. Buy it right now during the show, and at $44.99, okay, buy one for yourself. Make this the great gift giving. By the way, there's some people like to even out how they do their gift buying. Like, I'm only going to spend $100 on each person. Well, you can consider this a $100 gift because it's a $100 watch, but you only spent $44 on it. Folks, for only $9, you are getting all the style and design. Do you realize that usually watches at this price point, Megan, have you ever seen watches that have the subdials on them, but they're fake?
No.
You have never seen that?
No, that's ridiculous.
Oh, somebody back me up on this. Okay. Oh, there are several watches out there that want to have the look. Go check some of the kiosks in the mall.
Oh my gosh.
Where they want to have the look of a chronograph, and it's simply a cheap movement on the inside, and then they've actually applied non-working subdials. This is the price point where you start getting those watches, but it's a fully functioning chronograph, all for $45, and we're going to pay for shipping. It's like, yeah, it's $45, but you're going to hit me up with shipping, right, and handling? Not with us. You're going to love it for years to come. 262-380, Caravelle, New York. Megan, I have a gift for you.
Oh, is that right?
Would you like some Naker?
I would. I know what that means.
It's a clam's favorite whiskey, Naker's Mark.
That's cute. 287-834. That's actually quite funny.
It's actually been oyster. I kind of messed up there. But
I wouldn't know. I am such a fan of this. I know, so it's funny that I would get to present this right now because all show I've been talking about how this is my favorite color combo of the blue Geneves. I'm going right to the wrist with this. This is the 38mm size. We also carry this timepiece in a 42mm, which a part of me likes a little bit more, only because I wear timepieces a little bit larger. But I believe, and I know even some of the girls on our crew here, they like the 38mm. It's still a full-size watch. I mean, you can see it on my 6-inch wrist. It does not look tiny. It curves around beautifully. It just has such an elegance to it. The two-tone here is rose and silver tone. And normally, if you see a two-tone watch, you see that gold, whether it's rose or yellow, is mirror polished, and then the silver tone is brushed. They've sort of flipped it on its ear here with the bracelet having the brushed rose and the mirror polished silver. But then when we go around to that bezel edge, that dodecagon bezel, that's all mirror polished along with the crown and pushers. Look at that right there. When you see a colored mother of pearl, because mother of pearl made in nature, it has more of that natural, again, I'll show you my watch in the background, I have that natural, so to speak, look of mother of pearl. When you see a mother of pearl dial that has a color to it, in this case the royal blue, what you're actually looking at is a mother of pearl dial that on the underside of this dial has been painted a royal blue. So when you see it like this, you're actually seeing the reflection of light going through that mother of pearl and showing that painted color on the underside. Isn't that cool? I love the way the subdials blend in. When we spoke to our creative director, Niso Barokas, he talked about this for a moment. And in fact, do we have a chronograph timepiece that I could see for a moment, Jenny, that is not one of our own brands? Just another chronograph or something like that? It does not even matter what it is. It doesn't even have to be buffed. Perfect. I want to show you something quickly here. Notice, if you will, I'm just going to put another timepiece into frame for a moment. Notice, if you will, that the subdials on this Luminox, great Swiss-made timepiece, are slightly off-center. You could say, oh, it's 2 to 3 and 9 to 10, and that one down there is perfectly center, of course, but these are not quite center. Now notice these. It sounds silly, but it actually is a more laborious, difficult process to do to get the subdials to match up just so in the center chapters of that dial. That's what they've done here. That symmetrical look that, like we see on a Luminox, you would expect on a watch 10 times the price. Ceramic bezel. Isn't it amazing that they've matched up the colors so perfectly to where it almost looks like one piece? When we were talking about Corum a moment ago, this is a watch that to me has more of that Hublot Corum design because of that dodecagon bezel. We don't see many brands do that unless they're $9,000, $10,000, $12,000 and so on. So I like that unique shaped case, but yet on the wrist, it still fits like a traditional circle-shaped case. Bracelet length is incredibly generous. The warranties and the water resistance of 200 meters mean that this is a watch you can live in. 287-834, 5 payments of $38. You know what's great, ladies? If you like it like I do, put $38 down on any major credit card. Here's the worst thing that can happen. You get it home, you don't like it, you call us up, we send you the return slip, you send it back to us, we immediately refund your credit card $38. If you love it, you've locked it in at $190 or on the 5 payments, whereas everybody else that waits until Sunday after midnight Eastern, they're spending $330 on this watch. That's a huge difference. 287-834, the Blue Genève, and that's the smallest size. Now we move on to more Swiss-made Swiss Legend, a watch that's only a couple months old. Here, the all Swiss-made 46 millimeter Abisos. Where's closer to a 48 millimeter, excuse me. These are not just Swiss-made watches. These are Swiss-made automatics. And Wiley, check out that price. We took $30 off.
Are you kidding me?
Look at that right there, $269.99. Normally $300.
And it's not that anybody who bought it at $300 got a bad deal. You did pretty good. But that's an amazing drop for a watch that I know what they're doing. They're getting ready for the holidays. And you know, the STP 111 automatic in here is an incredible. It's because it's reliable. It's similar to the ETA 2824. Now, when you get your box home and you're going to open up all that packaging, eventually you're going to get down to this. This is a 3-slot watch box that is dust and water resistant. Why does a watch that happens to be waterproof, you know, down to 1,000 meters need this box? Well, but it's cool. Because, I mean, I feel like you should be handcuffed, you know, to this and like you're on a special mission. But you may have other watches that you want to travel with that maybe are not as rugged. So the moment you get this home, you're going to pop this open. And what you're going to find inside is, of course, your beautiful Abisos. And once you take out all the stuff that tells you about it, what you're going to find is that 3-slot watch box. And, of course, there is your watch. Now, I want you to, just for a moment, to take a peek. And we're going to set the box aside. I want you to see that you have a couple of choices here, and they are tough choices. Because at this price point, I just want to say get both, because we have 2 varieties at least offered right now. Consult the website, because I know we have more. take a peek at this watch. Now, the case is 46 millimeters. And as we come into that live shot, I want you to take a look at both, and the number you're seeing is for the watch in my hand. Now, the secondary version has the blue and the gold to it, but let's just take a look at the all stainless steel brushed finish. And as I come in closer, you're going to see those pops of nautical yellow, both on the bezel, as well as the sweep hand, and very importantly, seeing the color on the minute marker. Now, because this has to be a professional dive instrument, we have to have a unirotating bezel. That moves so surgically, and you're going to move it to just where you need it to be. And of course, it can't rotate in the other direction. Notice the thickness of the watch. That's because the watch is not going to give you 200 meters of water resistance, or 3 or 4, or 500 meters like the Luminox. 1,000 meters of water resistance. How tough do you need your watch to be? And because of that reliable and accurate automatic movement, you're never going to have to worry about a battery running out on you, not at a critical moment. And if you want lume, how about lighting up the ocean floor with this? Doesn't that look great?
That was some seriously intense Swiss Superluminova. And that's what this is. This is real Swiss Superluminova.
Which is expensive to do, and they have been heavy-handed with it. Now, I'm going to switch watches for a moment, and I want you to see our secondary version, and then you can decide which one you like better. Because the Abisos also comes in this blue and gold tone, because you have gold plating on part of the bezel and the crown. Then you have that brushed stainless steel, but look at that on the wrist. I mean, that really looks good. There is an oversized buckle that is almost industrial in its execution, and you know it's going to hold this incredibly well. This is one of those watches that I realize that this is not designed as a dress watch, but doesn't this dress up enough that you would not feel bad if somebody wore this as, to a dressier occasion? I realize it's probably not your black tie event watch, but, like what I'm wearing right now, if I wore a button down and nice pants, nice shoes, of course, if a guy has nice looking shoes and a nice watch, he can go anywhere.
That's true, and women notice those things.
Isn't it the truth? That
Yes,
people really do, like, if you're not taking care of those details, what else you letting go?
It's very true.
Because they got bad breath. Ugh. Serious. Ear hair. We can't even talk about it. Folks, this is one of those watches that the moment you put it on, you realize this is built to last a lifetime. And a watch of this quality may save your life because you have got so many features in here that for the professional diver, it's going to meet or exceed the standard all the way down to things such as the custom strap. You notice it is cut out exactly to the shape of the case, and you know it's going to be secure. Folks, this watch easily could sell for over $1,000. And there are certainly dive watches that do. You don't have to worry about this one because we're not going to sell it to you at 66% off, which would be the $500 mark. Right now it's $269.99, which is an incredible deal. Only $54 gets it home. Congratulations to all of you who have picked it up. You have a true winner. Now we're going to shift gears just for a moment to maybe something else that might just tempt you.
This right here is the bracelet variation of my hot pick. This is the 38 millimeter, just like my hot pick, except in silver tone on a bracelet. And this one does get a nice upgrade with a beautiful mother of pearl dial. Going around to your diver safety clasp, on your single fold, scissor style supported clasp. That's a nice high quality clasp right there. Just like my 38 millimeter Modern Mariner, this is one of those watches that is very easy to wear, ladies, and really can take you to a variety of adventures, functions, what have you. Earlier we were talking with that Ibel at the beginning of this hour, and I was saying how I feel that a silver tone watch is a wardrobe staple. You can wear it with anything. Maybe you're not somebody that dresses up very often. Maybe you have a sportier career. Maybe you just don't want something that looks so feminine and girly, but you want something made for a woman's wrist. Here's a great option that also, much like the Modern Mariner, is a 200-meter professional grade diver. Sapphire crystal, mother of pearl. It's got all of those luxury elements to it. The unidirectional bezel, functional for that 200 meters. Once again, much like my hot pick, you've got those little glass tubes for the tritium, so you get that luminescent dial there. Bracelet can accommodate up to a 7-inch wrist, so a little bit of wiggle room there, but it is a shorter style overall. This is one of the only Luminox watches currently available for women on our website that features mother of pearl. Traditionally, this is a brand where everything is very rugged, very tactical, and this is still a very rugged and tactical style, but I like that it's got a touch of femininity to it with that mother of pearl. Before we say goodbye to it, I want you to see what the tritium looks like. In this case, you've got a few pops of blue tritium. Everything else is done in that light, almost yellow color. Very easy to wear, even though it's 316L surgical grade steel. It is super lightweight because it's a slimmer case and bracelet overall. 264-155. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, will do it for our Swiss-made hour. We are now going to move into our third and final hour. The lineup is very similar to our first hour, where it is our bestsellers, and not just bestsellers on the show. We're actually bringing you bestsellers from WorldofWatches.com, because while we're only with you a few hours every week, there are amazing deals and brands every single day that are showcased on our website. Something that I would recommend for people to do is to sign up for our email blasts. We'll do a lot of flash sales. Our marketing team will, or our merchandising team will do flash sales where sometimes, and I get these emails, you get an email on a Tuesday or on a Thursday, and it'll be from 3 to 6 p.m. or 12 to 4, something like that, and they'll say, go now, we've got a crazy flash sale.
Oh, it's like an additional 15% off.
Crazy things, always,
And
so many things.
Megan and I get a little bit of a discount for being here on the show when we buy watches, and there are times you at home can get the watches for less than we do. We are not kidding at all. We start to place orders here, and we go, no, let's just call
We'll
the
just
number.
wait and buy it on the show.
Seriously. Is it the truth?
No, it's definitely the truth. We actually do this quite a bit. So you're always getting the guaranteed lowest price. If for some reason you find a watch somewhere else after you've purchased one with us, you do have a little bit of window of time there where we will price match, so don't worry about a thing. One final hour, one final preview. Let's see what's coming up this hour. The tungsten.
Oh,
These watches make me think of you.
Nice. Well, thank you, because that's a beautiful
Very
watch.
attractive.
It's very attractive, thank you. This is the Superman watch.
Yeah.
It's in Superman blue, but this tungsten, this is what I picture a superhero wearing. Because this watch, in the 45mm case, tungsten is one of the hardest, most durable materials. There's a density to it. It is thicker and heavier than stainless steel. And you've probably seen wedding rings and maybe other pieces of jewelry made out of tungsten. Have you ever seen an entire watch made out of it? It has a unique look and polish to it that you just don't find in any other metal. And this pop of red that's in the chapter ring in the center part of the dial, along with that blue, it does look like Superman's watch. And I would wear this any day of the week. My son, when I bought him this watch, but it has the silicone strap, the moment he saw this, he said, Dad, I've got to have that tungsten bracelet. That is absolutely perfect. So here it is for $189. There are people who've paid close to that for their rings. And the ETA G10-211 movement inside is going to be phenomenal. This watch is truly a winner. I can't wait to show it to you in person. It's easy to sell because it sells itself, and you're going to want one. You really will.
I have a friend whose husband has a tungsten wedding band. I didn't realize how expensive it was.
You better believe it.
281-694. This is a popular item with some of our viewers who have tweeted in that they like the 48mm Night Rally. Redline has some really cool things coming out, and this one's got a lot of color to it. Got a few different shades of orange popping against that gunmetal plating. Soft touch black silicone strap. Yes, it's a big watch, but it is super, super curved. It's all about the construction. When a watch is curved, even a 6-inch wrist like mine can easily be accommodated. $90. I love the stress-free payments. $18 will get it home. That's with a 5-year warranty on the movement and 100 meters of water resistance. 281-694.
We have U-Boat. I sent my son to the U-Boat website. And he said, Dad, these are incredible watches.
Yeah,
he had
they're
not
really
seen
cool.
them before, but he said, how in the world is anybody on the show going to buy these things at, $2,000 and $3,000? Well,
Oh, Mason.
please, don't you know? 216434 will get you the U-boat, the 52 millimeter left hook. This watch, of course, has that movement in upside down and backwards, which allows the crown to be on the opposite side, the 9 o'clock position. It means your start for your chronograph is going to be down there at the 8 o'clock position, and your reset's going to be at the 10. That's why they even give you, I love this is my favorite version, it looks like the labeling you would find on a submarine. Back when I was a kid, 12 years old, my family took me on a trip. We were able to see a battleship and a submarine from World War II.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
And truly, it's like that. There's all this labeling that's on everything. And here to see a watch that's at a $2,600 price point for only $459 is amazing. All of that style. People have been asking about U-boat, and they're coming back with a vengeance. 216434.
Quick mention here, this watch has gotten quite a bit of airtime because, you know, it is the #1 seller and all. My hot pick, the 38 millimeter Modern Mariner, a professional grade diver, all blacked out, on a leather strap. I really think the pull for me is the fact that this Swiss-made watch has a leather strap that is specially treated to wear swimming and diving. So this is not a watch that, oh great, it's 200 meters, but if you get it wet, you're ruining it. No. This is a watch that you can literally wear to the beach, to the office, you name it. It's more than 50% off. And with the stress-free payments, it's incredibly affordable because now more people are able to get into it. $60 down on any major credit card. 38 millimeter case, I call it the Goldilocks size, not too big, not too small. Sapphire crystal on there, 242385. And that is a Swiss-made Ronda 3-hand movement.
The San Marco is my pick. This is, of course, is a Lucien Picard watch that is brand new in our collection. It is a 44 millimeter case, has Sapphitech crystal both front and back. It has the ZS2015 automatic movement, which is a 22 joule automatic with 30 meters of water resistance. Now, at the top of the watch, you're going to find a moon phase complication. At the 9 o'clock position, you're going to find a secondary time zone. You're going to have a window there at the 3 o'clock position, which is going to give you a look inside the watch. And there at the 6 o'clock position, you have this fantastic filigreed bridge over the open heart configuration. Of course, that's 316L stainless steel. And I think that that is a great look all the way around. The price point on the watch, believe it or not, is $154.99. This watch should easily sell for that $500 to $600 price point. The $319 price is a bargain. How they're doing it for $154 still boggles my mind, but they do it. $31 gets it home. That's your first of 5 stress-free, interest-free payments. My top pick, and it better be in the top 10 list of bestsellers because I can't imagine the watch lovers missing out on that. Now, Caravel. Caravel is the art and design division, if you will, the fashion arm of Boulevard. Now, it is designed in New York, it is headquartered in New York, and they want to make sure that you have the very best in fashion-forward design. Not just a beautiful and elegant timepiece, but one that makes a statement on the wrist. Now, if you've been thinking about having an all-whited-out watch, just like they do an all-blacked-out watch, here is your opportunity to get a watch of quality, of craftsmanship, of a name, so that you're not just getting, you know, generic watch 101 for $25, $35. Here for $45, you're getting a Caravel by Bulova New York watch. It is a 3-hand configuration with the hour, the minute, a continuously operating sweep hand at the 6 o'clock position. You have 3 additional sub-dials there. A fantastic watch all the way around. And again, this is a hot bargain. This is our flash sale for the day. Only $44.99. This is such an incredible choice all the way around. 262380 will get this home. Buy it for yourself. Buy one for everybody. You know, you will not regret it. By the way, Megan, I want you to know that my son has just texted me and he has been watching the show, and he said, please tell Auntie Megan that I have been very, very good. And then he said, tell her thanks for the care package, wink, wink. I don't know what that means.
Don't you worry. My pleasure, Mason. Don't use them all at once.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. Or good afternoon.
Next week I'll have a completely new co-host.
Or next week, I
you
will have
will.
a completely new somewhere someone's puffing a cigar going, that's too much, Megan. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm going to have a hard time selling watches. Ben & Sons, the 46 millimeter.
Can I just
Voyager.
say,
Please.
we have had. Do we see, please, the Voyager from the first hour on the brown strap? This is a really interesting collection to me that we have this available right now, which I know you love and I love too. But earlier on the show, we aired from the exact same collection another Voyager.
Look at this. You are a quick eye, because let's just put these side by side. You realize the cases are identical. Now, the only thing that has changed is, of course, on this particular version, you have a 3-hand configuration. Here, changing it completely. Even though this is the metal bracelet, this is sportier just because of that chronograph. You feel like you got to time something.
It's just so interesting to me that it's the same collection. Now, the item number is for the silver tone, but that it's from the same collection and they have completely different personalities. I like that a lot.
This, to me, you're very much the traveler, the world explorer. Now, setting that aside for a moment, I want you to look at this. This, to me, and you've heard me say this, growing up in Florida, seeing the space program really in its infancy all the way to today, this looks like what I would picture the 1960s, 1970s astronauts wearing. It just looks like what the future was supposed to look like from the 1950s.
Almost like retro but futuristic at the same time.
I just saw the movie The Martian. Even though he's wearing a Hamilton watch in the movie, it looks like he should be wearing this watch. Cool. Because it just has that look like it is just ready to float away and go into space. Do you like this one?
I do. You know what I appreciate about this? We all know that brand, that we have a watch very similar with the bracelet style. Sounds like Schmeitling.
That's right.
It's very expensive.
Schmeitling? Is that the German watch?
I was trying to just not say it outright. But that is a watch that you would have to move the decimal point over 2 places.
A lot of places.
So to be able to get that affordable luxury on something that feels like a very custom bracelet to one brand, I really appreciate. And this is only of our company-owned brands, the second watch to ever feature a stainless steel mesh bracelet. The first is the 48 millimeter Lucien Piccard Fidelity. So this is a very new thing that we're trying out.
That's exactly right. My son was texting me, and apparently he wants your number. But there is also that look, because he loves the Fidelity. And this watch has that similar look. But I have to tell you, this is a slightly thicker, less fluid.
Interesting.
Now, I'm not saying it's uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form, but we didn't apparently just grab
the same bracelet,
and just stick it on there. This is one designed for this watch, and it feels a bit more durable, because you would expect the mesh on the dress watch to be not as delicate, but certainly not as rugged as this. This is not going to go away easily. Now, when you open this up right here, you'll notice, and I'm going to lay this out so just know what we're doing here. And as they're shifting to another camera, I want you to see that right here is an adjustment. Let's see if I can put that back into frame. This is simply popped up right here. And when you do, it allows this to infinitely adjust to whatever size that your wrist happens to be. Most of the time you have notches running up and down a strap, or into the bracelet you have to remove links. Even with the Breitling, you have to remove links. This allows you to make any sort of adjustment incrementally down to exactly where you want it. Then it snaps into place. I love that about this bracelet, because you don't always get that even with the highest end watches. Here they've saw fit to do that, and I think you're going to find this very comfortable. It's a 46 millimeter case in all stainless steel. Of course, you have a high mirrored polish on the back of the watch, and it's one of those that I think you're going to find is comfortable on the wrist. And one of the things you've got to love, and I was going to show this to you, there was actually a Jean Richard that had a scratch on the back. And I was going to show the scratch for the very reason that if this was scratched up, you're going to love the fact that 316L stainless steel, don't worry, I'm not going to scratch it. But if I were to make slight scratches in this, scuffs in this, you're going to go, well, that's great. Is it going to fleck down to the metal? This is the metal. This is what you're going to love about the fact that we're always telling you it's 316L stainless steel. The so what on that is that some metals are cheap metals, and then they put almost a chroming over them. So they have this high mirrored polish, and you might have had something that flecked off over the years. This, with light scratches, it can be buffed out, and it'll look exactly this way. And if we were to buff all the way down, microns deep into this, it's going to be that same polish. If you were to gouge it out, a jeweler could possibly flatten it back out and then polish it again, because it is the metal. It's not a coating. It is the metal that has that luster to it. Now, I'm going to throw this on the wrist. I want you to see that this really is a great look all the way around. And I love the fact that the convex crystal really is also kind of a nice historical look. It would have been easy just to put a flat crystal on here, and that might have modernized it. But this is the way, think of the Batmobile. The original, well, not the original, the Barris Batmobile from the 1960s. It was based off a Ford Futura, which had the bubble top on it. Here is that same kind of look. The Futura had lots of bubbles in it. Think of the Jetsons.
You want to know what I was just thinking when you were talking about, like, vintage Batman? Of course, I'm like, oh, Michael Keaton.
Oh, Megan, I love you. I really do. But no, think of the Jetsons. Remember the Bubble-mobile on the Jetsons? This was kind of the way I think the future was supposed to look. And I love the fact that this watch, whether intentionally or unintentionally, has a great vintage feel. And it's just one of those you're just going to love in the collection. It's going to make you smile. And the fact that it's Ben & Sons and the price point is so incredibly low. Look at that, $69. Only $14 gets the watch home. Consider this for your collection as 287683. Michael Keaton?
I know. Well, you said, like, think about, like, an older Batman. 264152. I'm so glad we have this watch, because I was saying earlier that Luminox designs things with the SXC, the Space Exploration Corporation. You were just talking about space. How perfect that this is a watch that weighs
nothing.
Nothing, right?
The watch is absolutely unbelievable. I'm going to set it on here. I'm going to weigh it. Usually a watch like this is going to weigh anywhere from 100 to 200 grams. The Renato that I brought in to be cleaned up is
watch.
250 grams.
Wow.
With the metal bracelet on it.
The Breitling Precisionist, the Champlain, that's nearly that.
The Bulova.
The Bulova.
Yes. Okay, are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? 41 grams.
Probably about as much as the packaging.
The packaging actually weighs more. If you were to set this down, if I were to just let it go, it'll float right off of here because it's that light. Now, I say that jokingly, but the watch is designed that for any of the folks who are part of the SXC space program or who may be in the astronaut program, this watch is designed to be ultra light because every gram going up in space is very, very expensive. So they've made sure, because obviously space itself, it's going to be weightless. It is the journey up because every little bit costs fuel. Everything from the fact that they've used a mineral crystal on the watch, they've used the PC carbon reinforced case that is incredibly lightweight. As you take a peek at the back of the watch, you're going to be able to see again, they even called it super light PC carbon. You're also going to have the screw down back, just in case you have to make your splash down in the Indian Ocean somewhere. You know that the watch has a level of water resistance. And it can also withstand the incredible G-forces that are going to take you into space. It is designed to still handle the weightlessness of space, because you realize that if you have certain automatic movements, well, there's not gravity to help move the rotor. So you have to have something that's going to withstand all the different elements that space flight is going to take. It meets those specifications. It's a 3-hand configuration with the hour, the minute, continuously operating sweep hand, but you also have a GMT hand, which just happens to be at this moment over the date complication. But that also allows you to do a secondary time zone. 200 meters of water resistance, because remember, again, the watch, with the Soviet Soyuz rockets that are still going up to the space station, they actually will either splash down or land on the land.
Whoa.
And should they make it to water, they can deploy inflatables that will keep it from sinking. But you would also want to be able to have something like your timepiece that could withstand water as well as weightlessness. Because it is Luminox, you also have tritium, and those tritium-filled tubes, which are always self-illuminating, look like this in the blackness of space.
Now, it's also a GMT, so you get that secondary time zone on there, and you've got that bezel that rotates, which fashions as either an AM/PM indicator, or I think you can actually offset that and have a third time zone. I found something cool on the Luminox website I just wanted to share about their partnership with Space Expedition. And it says, Michelle Moll, who's one of the founders of the Space Expedition Corporation, said, "We felt our crew needed a special, yet-to-be-developed watch. The technical knowledge of Luminox combined with their ambition and spirit of adventure proved them to be the perfect partner for us." And apparently, and this is really cool, the SXC, the Space Expedition Corporation, quote, will start operating commercial space flights in 2015. So they're already doing that. From the island of Curacao, they will offer clients, co-pilot astronauts, a unique experience in which they will experience breaking the sound barrier, G-forces, weightlessness, and finally, an altitude above the world to see space.
Do you think they will send us there and let us do that?
I don't even want to go. I would not even want to go.
I will go, and I will wear this watch.
Go and represent us, please.
You want to, like, the Swiss watch
I picture
cruise.
you walking slow motion, like in Armageddon, when like Bruce Willis and them.
Yes, I want that theme music. Folks, again, price-protected brand. What does that mean? It means that Luminox prefers from its resellers and sellers that they hold a price point so that the watches always maintain their value in the marketplace. And we're like, nah.
We do whatever we want.
We do what we want to. We are a Swiss Watch
Well,
International.
you were saying, like you were speaking to somebody recently. We have great buying power here.
I was talking to the CEO of the company because I took his parking space. But he does not like that, by the way. And I want you to know that one of the things he was talking about to us, we've got to have him on the show, by the way. We want you to meet David Block. He is an incredible individual, and as he leads the helm here, one of the things that he is so passionate about is the buying power that we have. And we do have the ability to buy these watches in such a fashion that nobody on the planet can touch our price. Now, we're going to show you, and I'm so glad we're doing this. What was people asking for in the survey that we just did? What did they want to see?
People wanted to see more of this brand coming up right now. And who wouldn't? Because we here at World of Watches are the largest authorized retailer of, wait for it,
Dun, dun, dun.
Invicta.
You are going to be seeing more and more Invictas on the show. At least as much as we can put them on there, we're going to do it. Now, please understand our website has more Invictas than we could possibly show you in 3 hours. We need to do it all Invicta show. Can we do that? I'm not sure we can do that. We should be able to do that. We're always protective of all of our brands, but boy, wouldn't that be great if we could do it. 47mm case, Pro Diver automatic. Get this, 18-karat gold plating. And the watch very much looks every bit of solid 18-karat gold.
That's cool. I love the curvature of the case like that, and then you can see right in there, Grand Diver.
Isn't that beautiful? It is etched right on there. That's not some sort of decal that's been put on. That is etched straight into the metal, and then the gold plating over it. Stainless steel. And you have this beautiful, what they're calling platinum mother of pearl dial. And when you see the iridescence within it, I mean, I wonder if our studio shots is really going to get that color as vibrant as I want it to. Do you see how reflective it is? You notice it's not just the crystal that's making the reflection. There is a platinum colored finish that is really over that mother of pearl. And as Megan has explained on more than one occasion, you're seeing the natural mother of pearl on one side. Then once they've found the perfect slice of nacre or mother of pearl, they then have the ability to colorize it on the other side, which gives you the beautiful colors that we were able to see. Now, the automatic Japanese movement inside is the S11NH35A. And if you want to take a peek at it more closely, why don't you look at it right here?
Look at the decorated rotor.
Isn't that nice? I love the fact when they do that, it just says we didn't just buy it and stick it in the watch. We had to do some customization, and that's nice. When you take a look at that, you're looking into the beating heart of the watch right there. 235 grams in weight. Now contrast that with the 41 grams of our space watch.
Which was only 1 millimeter smaller in size.
Yeah, this watch is heavy. And you have to realize part of that weight is gold. Because this is an incredible plating that is on here. And take a look at that on the wrist. What do you think?
You know what? It's a big case and it's very, very thick, but as we talk about so much on the show, the construction with the curvature of the case, it fits you really, really well. And I think Invicta does this right. You know, Invicta, in my opinion, is one of the brands that in recent years has truly popularized and brought into the world these oversized watches, right? I mean, Michael Kors, you could say, is another great example of that for ladies' watches, but people love Invicta. People know Invicta. We love Invicta, and they've got tons to choose from, and a lot of the cases are really big. But what they're smart about is they curve them because they want anybody's wrist, you know, within reason to be able to fit into it. Look, you've even got more of those diving bells etched into there because it is a pro diver. You've got the dial. The dial looks like the diver thing too, the luxury dial look.
Oh, absolutely. And what I love about this watch is that not all Invictas that are in the oversized capacity I can wear. I know that, but it's not designed for everybody, no more so than the very smaller petite watches are designed for everybody. And when you find something that you like, particularly with a watch like this, at this price point, I cannot believe this is under $90. There is no way, not with all the 18 karat gold plating and the mother of pearl dial. Those two items right there are more than half the value of that watch. And believe it or not, all of this luxury, and it's still 300 meters of water resistance. You also got to love the fact that they've used a Cyclops over that flame fusion crystal, the Cyclops lens at the date complication to make it easier. Even at this distance, you can still see it says 29th.
Yeah.
289574 is going to get you this beautiful Pro Diver. Please do not let this Invicta get away from you. It is gorgeous, and I promise if you don't like it, we'll take it back and we'll pay for shipping, and we'll give you every penny back.
Two options to show you here of the Tungsten Pro from Swiss Legend. We do have more color variations available right now for sale at WorldofWatches.tv that are $190 and 5 payments of $38. So if you missed any, you can still go there maybe before you check out of your purchase and see if you want any of the other color variations, because these are finally back in stock.
Megan, I want you to just pick up both those watches simultaneously and just feel the weight of just those two.
Yeah, they're very heavy.
Over 200 grams per watch. Now, would you like to maybe present these for a moment? Because I'm going to put one of them on, and I want you to...
Absolutely. I'm going to start here with item number 71242 with the black dial. Tungsten Pro is a watch that has been around with Swiss Legend for many, many years. Now, if you're not familiar, tungsten is one of those wonder materials, and I also call ceramic the wonder material, because it is something that is unlike stainless steel, unlike anything else that you traditionally see in watches. Much like ceramic, tungsten is incredibly scratch resistant. In fact, it is known for its crazy, crazy durability and scratch resistant. Look at what I'm doing right now with the sharp edge of a caliper, which we use to measure the timepieces. When we come to this closer shot, you'll see that while I might be smudging it, I am in no way, shape, or form even remotely scratching this bracelet. Now, keeping that shot, can you see how scratched up my stainless steel watch is? With tungsten, you never have to worry about that happening. The only thing you would ever maybe have to worry about is because it's got this almost mirror polished chrome appearance, it can be every now and then a bit of a fingerprint magnet, but nothing you couldn't just rub on your shirt and get rid of. This one, perhaps more versatile for those of you out there who don't want to play around too much with color, because we're looking at a black dial with pops of red and then the magnificent pop of the silver tone subdials. Those match that tungsten color beautifully. Tungsten is an interesting color because it's not mirror polished silver tone like I'm showing you back here. It's not quite as dark as gunmetal. It's got a smoky gray to it, which is very, very different. Tungsten is used in a variety of jewelry and accessories, as I mentioned a moment ago. One of my girlfriends, her husband has a tungsten wedding band. They are durable and they have a unique appearance to them. Looking inside the dial here, what you've got is a Swiss ETA G10 211 quartz chronograph movement from ETA, the watchmaking company. Watch when I hit the 2 o'clock pusher. That 2 o'clock subdial gives me accuracy down to 1/10 of a second. So a very, very accurate, precise chronograph movement. There's my little date window right there. All of this is going to be weighty. Yes, it's 45 millimeters with a beautiful integrated bracelet and solid end link construction. Let me open that up to show you. Solid end link construction. Massive screwed down case back. It's a heavier watch because ceramic weighs less than stainless steel, just like titanium does. But tungsten weighs more than stainless steel. So it's a watch with a presence. It's a watch with an attitude. Because this is one of our highest end designs, we give you a sapphire crystal, or I should say Swiss Legend gives you a sapphire crystal. Now, thinking about what you know about the scratch resistance of sapphire, which of course is one of the most expensive crystals in the world, plus the durability and scratch resistance of tungsten, yes, this is a watch that looks beautiful with a suit. Yes, it's a watch that you could also wear while swimming and diving, but it's also a watch that you will own and wear and look down at 5, 10, 20 years from now, and it looks like you took it out of the box. $190. Think about that. You're going to be set back $38 a month starting from right now, and you're going to buy a watch that will take you anywhere, that will go with just about everything you own, fashion-wise, and it will never, ever, ever look a day older than brand new. The item number for the black dial is 71242. But I do like the one that you've got on your wrist, too.
Did you know that the word tungsten literally means heavy stone?
Well, it makes sense now because the watches are so heavy.
Well, that's exactly right. Because when the alloy was first, when the metal was first found, I mean, that's what they called it, was heavy stone. And it has the similar weight and density as gold. And in some elements, in places where gold may be needed, sometimes they can use tungsten in its place because it is similar in its density and weight. So if you were to have a solid gold watch, it's going to weigh exactly the amount of this, which is pretty incredible. And of course, the ETA G10 211 movement is going to be reliable, accurate, because of the craftsmanship of this watch. They went ahead and put a sapphire crystal in here, and you have 100 meters of water resistance. The smoky look of this is not a colorization. It is the look of tungsten, just like titanium has its own look, and stainless steel does, and gold does, platinum does, tungsten does as well, and it is a very smoky finish. In fact, there's nothing else like it, and just like you said, incredibly durable, incredibly hard metal. Is it possible to scratch it? Yes, but you're probably going to sustain an injury if you do. And they could use the tungsten to rebuild you. 70594 will get you the Swiss Legend 45 millimeter tungsten, this time with the blue dial and the accents of red, the Superman watch. You're going to love it. $189.99, only $38 gets it home, and that truly is a bargain and a half. Do not let this get away from you.
All right, moving on now with only a few minutes left in the program. Got about 20 minutes left to air some live watches. 276-512. We are going to the Ritmo Mundo 46 millimeter Turismo. We were just talking about this brand before the show started.
Yes. My son's killing me because there's all of these different brands that we have access to.
It can become addicting.
Well, he tends to find the things that have a slightly higher price point.
Good for him.
Yeah. I think he's being prompted by the staff. This is one of those watches that the moment you look at it, you really feel like you're picking up a vintage timepiece. The Turismo is, like a Grand Turismo. It's a touring watch. When you look at it, it really looks like you have picked up an old style. Doesn't it look like a pocket watch? Mm-hmm. I mean, it truly does look like a pocket watch that somebody has put straps on.
Even the way the case shape on the sides, like how it's perfect rounded. Yeah.
I mean, I have a couple of pocket watches, and this so looks like that. Now, even with the strap, there is a vintage feel to it. I mean, when you look at the back of it, it is a kind of almost a suede leather. So it's not finished like you would find with it being really, really smooth. And of course, the Miyota 6S50 movement inside is going to be incredibly reliable Again, the Japanese movements that you're going to find in these watches are going to hold that same sort of accuracy that you'd find with any quartz movement, and that's going to be within 10 to 15 seconds per month.
I like that the movement is done in the bridge style configuration with the chronograph subdials, and then the continuous running seconds has that pop of red, you know, so it looks like something automotive and vintage. It really does. Even though I know nothing about that sort of thing, I can see the design, aesthetic, and inspiration behind it.
And again, you'll hear us say this over and over again. No, that's not a mistake with that sweep hand. When the watches come from the factory and they've been tested, what they'll do is they will check to make sure that sweep hand can stay in motion and be adjusted anywhere on the dial. Simply pulling or adjusting the crown and then moving that into place will allow this to be inched little by little. You notice how I can do that incrementally now? And I can set it anywhere that I want on the watch. So if you ever see us present a watch and think, well, something's wrong with that one, or if you get a watch home and perchance from the factory, the sweep hand has not been set to the 12 o'clock position, you can pull the crown, hit both pushers, or any number of combination, depending on the movement, and then you can second by second move it to where it needs to go. Once it's in place, you can lock that in, and then it is ready to function as the chronograph, and it will do exactly what it's supposed to, snapping back to the 12 o'clock position. You'll also notice that the watch even has all of this beautiful etching on the back of the watch. This is hand done, and it looks incredible. Again, just as Megan was saying, the three-hand configuration, the hour, the minute, and a continuously operating sweep hand is a small seconds at the 6 o'clock position. You have a date complication at the 4 o'clock, and you have a minute totaler at the 12 o'clock. The unusual stylized hands are easy to read even at a distance, and you're going to love almost the onion style crown that's on the watch and the piston style pushers. Certainly they're going to be piston style because it is an homage to racing and the Grand Touring or the Turismo style. Let me show you the watch on the wrist, and then maybe we'll see how many watches we can get through as we are running through the program. Because we have a little time left, let's take a peek. What do you think? I think the watch looks great. Now this is this 46 millimeter case on my 6 3/4 inch wrist, and we'll take a peek right there. That looks good. And you'll notice that I have it on the tightest configuration. There is a generous amount of strap if you have a much larger wrist than I do, and the watch is incredibly comfortable to wear. This is one of those watches that the moment you look at it, you kind of fall in love with it. And there's a variety of styles, colors, and configurations of this watch. If this isn't the one that pushes your button, we have one in some wild colors. We have one that's all blacked out. You've got to take a look. And just in case you get caught in a dark movie theater or an eclipse, then take a look at the time at night.
I like that every single hour marker, it's not just the hands, every hour marker is as vibrant as...
It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. 276512. The level of detail that Ritmo Mundo has put in here makes it worth your time. And for only $50 to get it home, you've done very, very well.
Well, if you love racing-inspired watches, take a look at some Redline. We've got the Night Rally here, a 48 millimeter newer timepiece that's already a fan favorite with those of you who tweet us and on our website every day, 281694. We've been talking about gunmetal a lot the past few days. I like gunmetal, and I wish that we saw it with that Ebel X1, but we rarely see it as often. And there's something about it, I think it's like if the guy or the girl wears mostly black and only has black watches, at least try gunmetal because it's still that darker neutral. And gray really goes with everything.
This is one of those watches that they could have just left it in silver, or they could have just blacked the whole watch out, or decided just to do those two and not do a gunmetal. But there's just something about it that's very machine or industrial. And you can look at the sides and see all the knurling and machining that's on the side of the watch. You can see that same sort of machining on the oversized crown, piston style pushers. As you come in even closer on the dial, you're going to be able to see that three-hand configuration, the hour, the minute, a continuously operating sweep hand, a small seconds subdial that's going to begin with our chronograph. So as we hit that pusher, you'll see it kick in right there. You have two totalers so that you're going to be able to also have the other functions built into that. There's your start, your stop, there's your reset. You'll notice that hand jumped back. There's your date complication at the 4 o'clock position. Please notice they've used a reverse date wheel, which means it's a black wheel, white lettering. That's a custom wheel just for this watch. You'll also notice that the strap like a waterfall, falls right from the lugs, and it's a custom fit to that. There are metal pieces within the silicone so that it is a completely tight fit on that watch. No need to worry about that. It's going to stay secure and it's going to look great. Now, if you think this looks good on the hand, let me show it to you on the wrist, and you can tell me what you think about this bold design. 48 millimeters. Well, I can tell you that usually once you get past 46, I'm starting to go, that's a little large for me, but not so. They've done such a great job making a larger timepiece very, very comfortable.
Redline is really that brand for you guys out there, or for ladies craving a bigger style, that are not afraid to take fashion risks. And I appreciate that. You know, maybe even somebody who would dress a bit more, not wild, maybe a bit more conservative, but then wants to kind of have something a little bit wild on their wrist. Or, you know, it's like if you're wearing something quite simple, but then you've got a crazy shoe on or an interesting handbag. That's what I see for gentlemen Redline being. You could have a nicer, maybe more pared down shirt and a pair of slacks or jeans, and then you've got something totally wild on the wrist. And that's what I see with Redline watches, and what we will be seeing coming out in the next couple of months.
Well, you know, and I think you've made a great point there. Ladies have so many different accessories that can kind of change their style based on their mood. Guys basically have shoes and watches. Everything else is, you know, our traditional shirts and, you know, khakis and jeans. It's a great way to show a little bit more of your personality without going overboard. And if you decide that's not the right thing, you can always change it real quick. And at this price point, you can certainly get more than one and not have to worry that you're stuck with that style for the rest of your life. Because look at that, under $90 for all of this style and all of that guarantee. There's a 5-year warranty on that watch. 281694. It's going to get you the Redline 48 millimeter. Don't worry, if it doesn't fit, you send it back. 30-day money-back guarantee, and we pay for shipping.
If you do like big watches, though, you got to go U-Boat. 216-434, the 52 millimeter U-Boat left hook. That means, of course, with a left-handed configuration. It's the IFO Limited Edition, a Russian-style dive watch with a lot of personality.
This is a big watch. There is no two ways about it. But if you go to the U-Boat website and you look at all that they have put on there, everything that just shows all their special edition watches, the limited edition watches, you realize that their price point is quite extreme. It's one of those watches where you go, wow, I had no idea this brand was that expensive.
Oh, yeah.
And
Very
they go
expensive.
completely through the roof, and that's okay because we've got you covered.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Here is a watch that is selling out there in the retail world for $2,650. I think that's an awful lot of money. But you know that when you find something that certainly has hit that magic point out there in pop culture, it's going to sell. That's just what it is. What's something worth? What somebody's willing to pay for it. Is it a $2,600 watch? If people are paying that for it, and that's what it's worth. Just like a painting. What does it go for in auction? Well, that depends on what it sells for. That's what that painting's worth. We, on Sunday at midnight, will believe this is worth $699. But right now, we believe it's worth more than this, but we're putting it down to $459.99. The B53 Japanese chronograph on the inside, which is pretty common in a lot of most of their watches have that Japanese movement in there. You're getting a lot of style within that watch. Please notice that it has the canteen style protector over the crown. Now, you'll notice that you have a pusher here and a pusher here. And because it's in upside down, this is going to be our start, our stop, and our reset.
I like that it's labeled.
I do too. I also like the fact that you have access to the pusher even though it's running right through part of the guard that's keeping the canteen in place. Notice it is incredibly well designed. It is very cool. And it's one of those watches that's going to immediately be one of your favorites in your collection. Do we have lume on this watch per chance? Because I'm going to imagine that all the bright work on there is going to have lume. Now, is this too big for you?
Yes, this watch would be for my wrist a bit too large. I wouldn't wear as large as a 52 millimeter.
I would think
it's not a very curved case. That's the only problem for me.
This is one of those watches that I think that they have intentionally left it with that style.
Oh, yeah,
They would
of
not
course.
have done. Now, take a look at the loom on this as I put this on. See, that's a lot.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that looks great. That really does.
Very industrial.
And you notice you can still see the pointers, the arrows, so you can find the pushers, just in case. In case your submarine happens to lose power and you need to get to the escape
I actually
hatch.
really like the loom. I like the loom quite a bit on this one with those arrows, because you don't notice the arrows as much on the dial until they're lit up.
That looks cool. Let's take a peek at the watch on the wrist. Now see, it is big, but notice it is about the width of my wrist, but because the strap allows it to drop straight down on the side because of the lugs, the watch is going to be a great fit, and it's very low profile. It's not a high watch. Now, it does have a deployant clasp on there, and I've not adjusted that, but that's the easiest way to put the watch off and on. And it's also going to be incredibly protective of the leather. Because if it was running through a buckle back and forth, you can certainly wear out the leather. Here, it's going to last a much, much longer period of time. Folks, this is your opportunity to get a limited edition piece at a fraction, $2,200 off the retail price. Isn't that not crazy? $2,200 off? Please consider this. I think you're really going to appreciate it, and it's going to be incredibly a standout watch in your collection.
282-947-TW Steel. We're staying big with this 48 millimeter Lotus Renault. Is that how I pronounce that?
Yes, Lotus is from the Lotus cars, and Renault is French. So you have British and French coming together right there.
Oh, that's interesting. This watch really does have that interesting luxury look that we see a lot with Hublot, with Corum, almost a marine-inspired design. Because notice that your circular shaped bezel is screwed down with yellow gold tone, fully functional screws. This is a multi-piece case design, almost in a modified tonneau shape. You've got that squatter case itself with the circular bezel. And look from the side profile though. Nice curvature. It's a relatively flat case, but because it's an integrated strap, you can see there's no real lugs here. It's just strap, boop, right up into case. It allows the watch to curve immediately. It reminds me in case construction, in no other way but case construction, of that super secret Santa deal that we were doing, the Caravel. It's got that same sort of style of the case. Looking inside your dial here, I want to show you a bit about the movement that you've got. You've got a Citizen Miyota quartz chronograph movement inside. Now, interestingly enough, what happens is when I start my chronograph, that little hand begins to move, the gold tone hand. And then the 6 o'clock sub-dial gives me my fast runner for my 1/10 of a second. When I stop that, it will give me, okay, so 9/10 of a second. And then I reset. What ends up happening is that 6 o'clock sub-dial now goes back to keeping time. Did you watch that? Let me do that again. So here's my time, right? This is my continuous running 60 seconds down here for my currently displayed hours, which are 10:10. When I want to use the chrono hand, I activate it and keep an eye on that 6 o'clock sub-dial. It goes from being the continuous running seconds to now keeping my chronograph time for 1/10 accuracy. When I'm done with it and I want to reset my chronograph, I stop and I reset. And it shows me where it was, and then it actually internally keeps the time to where when I don't want it to be a chronograph anymore and I want it to go back to being the 60 seconds, it immediately begins doing that. That is the Citizen Miyota OS20 movement inside. Very, very slick. Pass it over to you to try on. Your wrist is a little bit larger than mine, so perhaps better.
I think the watch looks great. I mean, I just love the custom look that they have within that watch. And as I slip that on, that is incredibly comfortable. Man, that is a soft silicone strap. That really is.
Looks
Take
good
a
on
peek.
you.
You know what, and I think you've mentioned this, I really love the pops of gold. Because the watch could have easily just been all blacked out and that would have been fine. But there's a touch of elegance all the way from those screws that are holding the bezel in place, the crown and pushers, all the way down to just, did you see the sides right here of gold that's within the buckle. I just think that looks great, and it is such a soft strap. So, voice in the head just said that the box that it comes in is also black and gold.
Oh, that's cool.
So that'd be really cool when you get this home. You're going to be very, very pleased with what you have. And you notice, maybe if the light doesn't catch it, you're going to miss it, but even the sweep hand is in gold. So you can wait and go to the department store and pay $700, $800, $900, or you can pay the wow price of $400 on Sunday at midnight. But right now, $179.99, only $36 gets it home. It's an incredible look. It's an incredible value. And we're going to pay for shipping, 30-day money-back guarantee. And you're going to love the watch. We just know it. We just know it. Now, one of my favorite watches happens to be from the Bulova collection, and it is the Precisionist. Now, we'll see how much time we have. I'll try to move at lightning speed so that you can get as much information as possible about this watch. Watches tell time by the movement of something. That grandfather clock that you have at the house is going to tell time by the movement of that pendulum. It swings back and forth, and each swing is going to equal 1 second. It's going to move a gear inside. It's going to then move the hands, and you're going to be able to keep time. If you have an automatic or a mechanical watch, there is a balance wheel within inside that watch that, because of energy stored within a spring, it's going to cause that balance wheel to go back and forth, and each movement is going to be equal to a second, and that second is going to move the hands within it connected to the gears, and that's going to give you time. When quartz movements came out, it was the measurement of the movement, not of a pendulum or of the balance wheel, but rather the vibrations of a piece of quartz in the shape of a tuning fork. They found out through the piezoelectric quality of quartz that when electricity is applied to it, it vibrates. If you can measure the vibration, you have a timekeeper. Thus, the quartz movement was born. Most quartz movements resonate at 32 kilohertz. That 32 kilohertz is going to give you within 10 seconds per month of accuracy, and that's much better than the mechanical or automatic watch that you may have, which is going to be accurate to within 10 to 15 seconds per day. Why is this watch special? Because it runs not at 32 kilohertz, but 262 kilohertz. It is 8 times the level of accuracy of the watch that you may have on your wrist, and it's accurate to within 10 seconds per year. Now, you'll notice that you have a continuously operating sweep hand in red that's running right now, but if I hit this pusher right here, it's going to rush its way around to the 12 o'clock position and lock in so that you can use this as a chronograph. Now, this is not just keeping track of time by the seconds or the tenths of a seconds or hundredths of a seconds, but there's a retrograde dial at the 6 o'clock position that is good for 1/1000th of a second. When I hit the pusher here, you're going to notice 2 hands up here start to move at lightning speed. Keep a close watch, because one of them is going to be moving at a tenth of a second, one at 1/100th of a second. Now, it almost appears as if one hand is moving and one is almost invisible because of the rate of speed at which it runs. There's no way Bulova could have made the retrograde dials spin at 1/1000th of a second, so internally through the computer within the watch, it's keeping track of that particular motion. So when I stop this, all hands will lock into place. You now have accuracy to the second, the tenth of a second, the hundredth of a second, the 1/1000th of a second. It would have continued totaling to the minutes or the hours. And to reset is as simple as hitting that pusher at the 4 o'clock position. Everything works its way back around. But to keep its record as being the most accurate quartz movement on the planet, we have to get this sweep hand back to where it would have been had we not started the chronograph. And simply hitting the button here, it's kept track internally of where that sweep hand should be. So it's going to work its way around, and it's going to find itself to the exact second to pick back up, so that this is keeping track of the hours, the minutes, and the seconds down to within 10 seconds per year. All of that should be costing you $700. It's the pinnacle of Bulova's watchmaking. But instead, we're going to do it at $524, which is a great savings. But look at the show price. $229.99 for all of this. Only $46 gets it home. I want to challenge you. Go ahead and Google it. Take time. Call all the jewelry stores in town. Find the cost of the Bulova Precisionist and see if they can beat this price. They can't. Folks, it's an incredible value in the watch world, and we want you to have access to it for only $229. Please consider this as a gift for yourself or someone for this holiday season, and you have 30 days to send it back. We're going to pay for shipping to you, and if you send it back, we'll even pay for shipping for it to come back here. But I think you're going to keep it, and it's going to be one of your favorite watches.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us today on the show. You have until midnight Eastern Standard Time to place your orders so you get all these amazing deals and the stress-free payments. Of course, we invite you to check out WorldofWatches.tv so you can see even more color variations of all of the watches that we air. Yes, sir?
No, I was just saying, that's right. We have the Precisionist line has multiple watches, so take a peek. I'm sure we have just the right one for you.
All right, let's start with our recap, and the number one seller is the 38mm Modern Mariner. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen who picked up this timepiece. You have a professional-grade 200-meter diver that you can wear with everything because of that genuine leather strap, sapphire crystal, Swiss-made Ronda movement inside, half off, and 5 payments of $60. Item number is 242385. If you wait until after midnight, price goes from $300 to $423, and that's one stressful payment. It's very sad.
And you also have the San Marco. It's the 44mm watch that certainly has that reliable ZS2015 movement inside, which is a 22-jewel automatic with 30 meters of water resistance. You have multiple functions within that watch, the most important being that secondary time zone. You have that beautiful open heart configuration with the filigree bridge over it, as well as a moon phase configuration, all within that 316L stainless steel case. A gorgeous watch at a phenomenal price of only $154.99. We pay for shipping, and there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can put it on 5 stress-free, interest-free payments of only $31.
Wow, I'm so glad to see this next watch so high up in our recap. Good for you, ladies, for getting this. This is the 34mm X1 from Ebel. $800 is a much better price, especially when you can break it out over 6 months at $133 a month for a Swiss-made watch you will have and wear forever. 284279. Here, monochromatic silver tone, beautiful curved sapphire crystal. One of my favorite bracelets is created by Ebel, and it's on this watch. Everything is symmetrical and fluid. It is truly a stunning timepiece. 284279.
And right behind that, oh, no surprise here, when you see $2,200 off the retail price,
Yeah.
Good heavens, we're all but giving it to you. It's $459.99. Only $92 makes it part of that stress-free, interest-free payments. And remember, you are always going to shop with confidence. It is unusual in its style, but man, when you get this U-boat home, you're not going to want to let it go.
Coming up right after that, no surprise here, the 48mm Night Rally. This is all gunmetal on a black silicone strap with pops of orange inside the dial. With all red line timepieces, you get 2 things: 100 meters of water resistance and a 5-year warranty on the movement. You also get Super Luminova. 5 payments of $18. Remember, every single item's on 5 and 6 payments. 281694. Right up behind that is the Swiss-made Swiss Legend Abisos. This is an automatic movement. It's the STP-1-11, and this features one of my favorite color combos, the silver tone, the rose with that royal blue. It's 1,000 meters of water resistance. It has genuine Swiss Super Luminova, a 10-year warranty on the Sapphitech crystal, and that packaging is what it comes in. 274857. 5 payments of $54. Swiss-made watch with an automatic movement for under $300.
And right behind that is one of our brand new designs, and do not let this one get away from you. The Blue Genève has been just selling like crazy. It's one that we not only love here and are pretty proud of, but also pretty glad that you have been loving the watch as well. Watches of this quality and caliber easily have been selling for that $500, $600, $700 price point or more. The $300 price point is more than fair, but $179 for this brand new design. All Swiss-made watch is incredible. And it's only, right now, $36 if you put it on the 5 stress-free, interest-free payments. And again, we pay for shipping, $287,839.
Everything he just said, except now for the 42mm for ladies, $287,843. Mother of pearl dial ceramic bezel insert. This is the one done in all rose tone. This is the second smallest size. It does come in a 38mm, but the 42 is my favorite. It's $36 over 5 months, $287,843. A Swiss-made watch.
We love Ben & Sons, and this watch is apparently one of your favorites as well. This is the 44mm Mercury, and it really looks great. It is certainly pulling back from a vintage style, but with nice modern touches to it. It's only $89.99. On behalf of all of us here, we're so glad that you've joined us here at Swiss Watch International's World of Watches. We'll be joining you at the same time next week. Please join us. Keep looking at the website. And on behalf of
Megan
and Wiley, we'll see you again soon.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.